Federal Communications Commission has determined the following content to be emotionally harmful. Snowflakes should not view this content under any circumstances, even if supervised by a G.I. Joe, Navy SEALs, Army vet, or someone with good common sense. The views and opinions expressed, including the depictions of persons of color, corrupt politicians, white people with or without a tan, haters who have yet to brush their teeth typing angrily in the comment section with hot breath syndrome, do not reflect any official policy or position of the U.S. government. This program contains graphic language, dark comedy, unique intelligence, creativity, a high credit score, and high blood pressure when triggered. This program has also been accused of racism, violence, misogyny, mansogyny, feminism, Taoism, defacement of celebrities, and of course, being a bully. Welcome to Thought Crimes.
Man. All right. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all can hear us, right? Just let the chat know y'all can hear us too. All right, let's see. What's going on? All right, good. Y'all
all right,
can
hear us. Okay, welcome to Thought Crimes, everyone. This is your girl, Sincere.
Hey, yo, this is your man, Prince Solomon. We back at it again. All right. So, folks, ladies and gentlemen, we are now live. We are live, and we're going to be talking about Crenshaw and the Crenshaw community. We're going to be talking about the Greater Los Angeles 2, by the way, and not only a conspiracy going on in Crenshaw, but there's been several conspiracies. We got the man himself, Billiongodsun here. He's been the muscle. All right, he's been the grand hustle muscle on the ground.
African Town.
Man, Africa Town. Yes, man. You know what I'm saying? And then we got Brandi Kane in the building.
MC, yes. A wonderful artist. She also has her own restaurant.
Yeah, man. You know,
she's out there putting in that work. She has her own juice.
Yeah, so
brand, come on, they do a lot.
They do a lot. So shouts out to them, but they're here. I want them to talk about, the several conspiracies that's been going on in Crenshaw, and then again the Greater Los Angeles, and black folk that have been forced or being pushed out of Los Angeles. In fact, if I recall correctly, Billion too, by the way, you can chime in on this at any point in time. If I recall correctly, that I believe you stated, and I believe because I was doing some research, there's somewhere about 4,000 new non-black folk that are supposed to move into the area within the next 2 years. And you guys have been dealing with a lot out there as far as like illegal real estate practices. And you even have the situation going on with art and Parasite. I mean, just kick everything off for us, Billion, man, because I've been paying attention to you in them videos. You've been lifting up a whole division of police officers out there, throwing them across the cars and everything. So, I want you to break it down and, let this be a warning for other folks that are kind of, not really checking into their community like this, like you are, you and Brandi Kane too, by the way.
Yeah, agrees. Most definitely want to thank y'all for having us join you today. I most definitely follow you all. Been really checking out the Kendrick versus Drake information y'all been putting out there. So appreciate your platform big time.
Oh yeah, man. Y'all up, man. The West is up, man. Y'all are up. Y'all are all the way up.
City is back up. It's a must. We outside. What's up, Thought Crime? CC's Think Tank. What's happening? Brandi Kane in the house. What's happening?
Yeah,
What's
BK.
up? What's up?
Yeah, so
Chilling, chilling.
yeah, yo, Billion, man, let us know what's going on, because the last time you spoke to us, you was letting us know what had been taking place with the effects of gentrification in the community, and then you was kind of breaking down just on the back end, moving beyond the rap gossip. What exactly, like even somebody like Nipsey Hussle, what they were doing inside their space, and some of the other people of Africa Town as well. But now you seem to be at a furthering chapter as well, concerning, some of the illegal practices of real estate. What's been going on out there, and how they've been like aggressively buying up a lot of spaces out there and trying to force out local staples in the community, under the guise of like a lot of black faces too. By the way, you want to break that down for us?
Right. So we just reached a 2 year mark of a campaign we've been having against the banks, because the banks are doing us dirty on multiple levels, and we found they are really helping to finance the gentrification. But here, about a month ago, we found that one of the largest stakeholders in our community has actually initiated a very hostile push out of one of our long-standing merchants. One of our elder brothers named Sika opened shop back in '92 right here in the village. He has been running the shop where you could buy African clothing, jewelry, art. He himself has been known for doing piercings for a number of different people over the years. One of my aunts actually did hair in his shop. But on Juneteenth of this year, the city finally acknowledged his work and legacy by renaming a alley that sits directly in front of his shop, perpendicular to his shop, the Sika Dwinfo corridor. And a number of people came out, celebrated that honor. And unfortunately, about 2 or 3 days later, Sika transitioned. So immediately the community came back to, express their sympathy and love to the family. And, we began looking at how we would memorialize Sika, in addition to a few other community members who transitioned around the same time. But before we could even get to a memorial, about 3 weeks after his transition, Art and Practice issued his family a 30-day notice to vacate.
Wow.
And to date, they have not communicated to the family why they are doing this so hastily. The family has actually used council members, county supervisors, and their attorney to try to reach out to get the primary owner of this organization named Art and Practice is a black man named Mark Bradford. And his representatives told the attorney and others that he's not going to sit down with Sika's daughter, whose name is Milan. So, like I've been saying for the past few years, we've really been educating the community on the banks. But now we see this organization, Art and Practice, which has bought up, some folks say 2/3 of the property right here in the commercial district we call Africa Town. And, over the years, because this goes back almost 20 years, they've been buying property over here. Mm-hmm. And over the years, they've been kind of standoffish. The primary owner is a brother named Mark Bradford. But his boyfriend, we don't know if he's Spanish or Italian dude named Alan DeCastro, has been the primary person that comes over in the village and kind of directs their employees as to what they're doing, what they're not doing. A third member who founded Art and Practice with Mark Bradford and Alan DeCastro is a black woman named Eileen Norton. Eileen Norton, her husband is the one that actually invented the Norton antivirus.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're like mega millionaires, if not, in the billions at this point. But the three of them, like I said, have bought up a lot of properties in the village. Initially, in the early 2000s, when they started buying properties, they immediately pushed out one of our long-standing poetry venues known as the World Stage. Another long-standing venue we had known as Cheerios. It's actually a scene in a movie with Jamie Foxx and I forgot the white boy name, but
Tom Cruise. You talking about the what is
Tom Cruise, right?
Collateral?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Cheerios. But they forced Cheerios out, and we had to make some noise to get them to actually start leasing some of the properties. And what we have found is the businesses that they do lease to are only on month-to-month leases, meaning at any given time they can discontinue the lease and push them out. So what we know right now is between them, what the banks are doing, and other interests that are now in the village, we're going to have to really turn up in our pushback to let them know that, this hostile takeover is not going to be welcomed, and we're going to do all we have to do to preserve our community.
Has it been talked about on local radio out there where you all are? Is that something that's necessarily covered out there concerning the media, like the strip of media that you do have out there? Have they brought this up to the community at all?
Well, actually, this week, Tavis Smiley radio station KBLA gave me an opportunity to come on and speak about it. They also scheduled an interview with Sika's daughter, Milan. They have also given us a platform to speak about our campaigns against the banks and other issues. And then yesterday, another radio station, KPFK, also gave us an opportunity to come on and speak about it. But just in general, it's not something even Black media, corporate media. And again, thanking y'all for lifting it up. But even on social media, a number of us are shadow banned. So we're kind of cut off from a community outside of our immediate, I guess you would say, choir that they allow us to speak to.
Because y'all really do the work. One of the ways that we try to keep a balance on this show is we do the hip hop stuff. Not only because we love hip hop, but we know that keeps us in the algorithm so we can have y'all voices be heard, because y'all do the work 24/7. So, on social media, they try to lock your voices out completely. And this is why we try to have a fusion so y'all voices can be heard as well, because what y'all doing is very, very important. We don't have a lot of people like you and Brandi Kane who are just so selfless and multi-talented and putting all of your effort into the community.
Yeah. Just want to give you guys your flowers. Because I routinely check out, you all social media profiles, like especially on Instagram. I'm not always commenting, but a lot of times I'll see or seeing or she'll reshare it. And Brandi Kane, she always like throwing an event or she cooking up something. Some of them events, I'm like, damn man, I wish we can get out there. But but realistically, the reason why we wanted to touch into this because every time they not talk about what's been going on with Nipsey Hussle and everything, and I don't it's not anything about like not putting anything down. I think the brother did a wonderful job as much as he could given the circumstances, but also it represents a community though, which y'all are fighting for. In Crenshaw, even Black Los Angeles has a huge Black history that a lot of times it goes unnoticed. Just even all of the Black efforts that has went on out there by where you guys are. I want you to break down Billion, man, and even to you, Brandi Kane. You can always jump in, double that chin whenever you want to, but I want you to expound on like what blackface gentrification looks like. Because see, what you're describing to me, it sounds like blackface gentrification. Because I saw some of it, what was going on with some folks that I know that did real estate in Brooklyn, and they were saying a lot of the Black realtors that had white dollars behind them were aggressively buying up the community.
Yeah, and also trying to exploit the elderly in New York because they had some of the most promising real estate with the brownstone. So yeah, they were doing a lot of messed up stuff over there.
Yeah, and so when you were speaking about Brandon, I did go on and look at some of his profile, and I did some of the research. I went to the Instagram, give a brother a clean shave, bald head, put him in front of a Tesla, you know what I'm saying, and say this is the new black, so. Can you speak to that about that type of weaponizing of black flesh coming into the community, penetrating the community as it's been doing right now with Africa Town?
Well, the one unique thing about Mark Bradford is that he actually has history in the village that predates him being a gentrifier. He, back in the day, used to do hair over here. And as an artist, he got plugged into a circle to where I'm being told some of his art pieces sold for as much as $10 million. So at some point, I guess with him connecting with Eileen Norton and how long him and Castro been together, I have no idea. But other than him, what we have found in recent years is a lot of new Negroes showing up into the village who are becoming shop owners. And this actually goes back a few years ago. I think last time we were on your show, we were speaking about a council member, Mark Ridley Thomas, who we were battling against.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mark Ridley Thomas, a lot of folks say he's a kingmaker. He basically directed all the resources, grants, banks, everybody to get behind these new Negroes who had become shop owners to basically fulfill his agenda for USC, Metro LA, Chase Bank, Wells Fargo. And they had been given a lot of say in the village, even with like our Juneteenth event. They put them in charge of a more corporate event, whereas we organize a grassroots event. But basically, Negroes who don't have real stake in the community, they don't have the relationships in the community, nor do they have the interest in preserving the community. They're just here basically to get in position to where they can get paid and then paid off to relocate, paid off to let whoever step in and take over. But like I was saying, with Mark Bradford, it's unique because a number of people here, they have history dating back 20, 30 years with this dude. So that's what's got a lot of folks real hostile. And he's one of the first ones that we've seen who actually has ties, who's still like whatever, and willing to move forward this agenda. Even in the case like we're saying with Brother Sika, a number of folks, including his family, shared with me, they thought Sika and Mark Bradford were tight. Art and Practice actually has a number of publications they pass out in their museums, and his family shared. They featured Sika in at least 8 of those publications. The daughter says she was a regular at some of their events because they have a lot of closed events and they only invite certain people. But she said she was actually going to their events. She had a whole bag collection of different bags they were giving out. So she thought they were good. So when she ends up getting this 30-day notice to vacate, she's like, what the hell's going on? And now that they're refusing to even sit down and talk to her, so she's kind of lost. But I'll fall back and Brandi, you can add on,
Yeah, so he's just one of many. We have other entities like Destination Crenshaw. Yesterday I just did a show called Rhyme Fest, and there's an iconic mural that stretches for how long is that Crenshaw wall, Billion, you would say? It's a couple of,
at least a block long.
Yeah, it's like a block long, but it's been getting worn over the years, and it needs a a facelift and things like that. And it's been promised that it's going to be revived, and the original Black graffiti artists that created it will be the ones to recreate it, and it's full of Black imagery that tells our story of the diaspora. over this entire mural. It goes from the ships and from Africa and the ships and to our struggle here in America. And since we've faced gentrification at certain points, that mural has been defaced. At one time, the Black Panther portion of the mural had swastikas over it.
Saw that. Saw that.
But anyway, I ran into one of the graffiti artists yesterday. My bigger point is who's OG graffiti artist who's going to be working with that wall. And I said, yeah, he was shouting out the Crenshaw wall and everything. I said, yeah, what's up with the wall? He said, well, it's a whole thing with Destination Crenshaw and everything. I said, oh, it sounded like they, kind of are bullshitting these graffiti artists a little bit at this point.
What do you mean by that? When you said you were saying it was bullshitting the graffiti artists, are you saying like they
basically this is a project that should have been already done? It's nothing to give the artist permission to go ahead and spray paint the wall.
Oh, gotcha.
And reinvigorate the mural. If they wanted to. But there's the councilman Marquise Harris Dawson, who has now been named the president of the LA City Council, actually, and he'll be taking his seat in September. But he's, another blackface gentrifier, and he has a project called Destination Crenshaw, which is taking up a lot of the city budget, and it's an open air art museum that is yet to be built, that has been sitting on Crenshaw and taking up space and resources and money, and hasn't been completed yet. So that's just one more example. We have people in the council, we have shop owners, we have some residents that are holding hands with police and gentrifying entities that are not really understanding the magnitude of the situation that Black Los Angeles is in. But it is imperative that we all have all hands on deck and everybody's paying attention to the situation, because there's a lot of displacement that's happening right up under our nose. So people are waking up every day. People are coming to us and saying, well, what's going on over here in Africatown? Who's who, and who can we trust, and what's really going on. And some people that are moving against the greater good of the community, they are seeing they're reaping what they sow. They're starting to get eviction notices on their doorstep. But that also, while we may be able to laugh at them for a second, it also it endangers the larger community, because once they're evicted, then who's going to move in?
I get what you're saying.
And that's the issue, that we're facing. So when things get into the wrong hands and we get the wrong shop owners that want to hold hands with Chase Bank and they want to have a corporate, Juneteenth, and we ended up having a beautiful turnout, despite people trying to go on the news and tell on national TV and say that Juneteenth was canceled, as if you could cancel a Black national holiday.
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. There was they were basically, it was misinformation that they were saying what you all were doing out of Africa Town, which I'm sure the shit was flyer than the corporate Chipotle shit. But they were saying they were saying the organic Juneteenth was canceled, but then they wanted to go ahead and promote pumpkin spice Juneteenth on their end. Is that correct?
Yeah, because they couldn't do it this year. They didn't have the proper or whatever, the fake sponsorship that they wanted from last year. McDonald's and Chase Bank and USC and all of them entities, they didn't want to deal with the community this year. So they try to go and tell the community it was canceled, but it was nothing close to it. Go ahead, Bill.
So yeah, these corporate dudes who've been trying to hijack Juneteenth, basically the past few years, the young folks turned up on a day, and last year it actually got shut down right as Jazz and Sullivan, their top artist, was about to go on stage. The youngsters broke out and got buck wild, and they got shut down. But as a result, they lost monies. A number of lawsuits, I believe, came out against them. So this year they couldn't do it. They had to cancel it. So like Brandi was saying, they went and they put out, to the world that it was canceled, when everybody knows we have two Juneteenths over here. We have that crap, and then we have the people's Juneteenth. But fortunately, we was able to keep the word out that it's not canceled. turned out. The merchants actually took over the corporate day. They had a nice turnout. That's the day that Seeker was honored that actually fell on Juneteenth. And then the Sunday before, because we do ours every Sunday around Juneteenth, we had an excellent turnout. So, you know, like I point out to people, they can enjoy the moment with the bull crap, but as long as we do what we know is right, karma's on our side, and we eventually find all these fools fall apart.
Also, heard what y'all both said, and Brandy, when you talked about, so the people who betrayed y'all got played by the people they chose over y'all.
Yeah,
Right.
and it happens. It's a historical thing that you can trace over over time. If you look at gentrification in the past, it's a cycle, and it's a shame that our people continue to fall for it, thinking that these corporations will not betray them in the end. And it happens time and time again. And we have to learn that we cannot trust Wells Fargo, who is built on the backs of slavery. What do we need with them at Juneteenth? That's just totally, it's just contradictory, and it's counterproductive to our complete mission of, self-reliance and economic prosperity, within the community, so, people have to, we have to learn, like I said, it's been if we look over history, this has happened city to city. We can trace it. Chicago, New York. We have these situations where they find some Negroes that they can go to and cuddle up next to, and use, and then they stab them in the back and toss them too. And
What I find interesting, we're coming up with all different types of currency right now. We know with cryptocurrency, people trying to create their own banking order, but then when it comes to Black people in the United States, localizing to to make sure they have commerce with each other and create their own banking order, you get all these outside forces intervening.
Yeah, they also, just to for you all that are listening, also Billiongodsun and Brandi Kane as well. Some of the people are asking in the chat, in what ways could they assist you all too, by the way, because they're having questions about, like, what can they do, what number can they call, because they seem like they actually want to try to assist as well on their end.
So for folks who are not in Los Angeles, the primary page that we put a lot of our anti-gentrification campaigns on is a page called Fight to Save Black LA. That's Fight, FIGHT, the number 2, Save, SAVE, Black, BLACK, LA, Fight to Save Black LA. And right now we're running a campaign against the Hammer Museum, the Getty Museum, LA County Museum of Arts, the Broad Museum, I'm not sure where that's located, and a couple other ones. But just going to those pages, if you go to their Instagram and see numbers you can call, hit them up, and just demand they pull back from partnerships that are gentrifying our community, because that's who Art and Practice is partnered with. A lot of these larger white museums, we're actually planning some field trips this coming week to some of those establishments. But those who are in Los Angeles, on one end, come out and patronize the Seeker's family. The shop is still open Thursday through Sunday from 12 to 6. Today, we're out here with our Sunday market. But also, come join us on these field trips we're going to take. I'm encouraging those, especially younger than me, to tap into the spirit of what's happening in Kenya right now. They are forcing their government to make all types of concessions. They actually started doing it just within 2 weeks, just shutting the country down for 2 weeks. Forced the president, one of the U.S.'s top African Negroes right now, to pull back on a lot of his agenda, to actually start firing folks from his cabinet to decrease their salaries. Tap into what's happening in the Sahel region in Africa, with Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, taking over the country and kicking out the French, kicking out the U.S., kicking out all white imperialists. Tap into what's happening in Atlanta right now to push back against Cop City. Yes. Check out Chicago this coming week, what they're about to do at the Democratic National Convention, saying Black people will no longer be tied down to the Democratic plantations. It's time to really turn it up and not just wait to respond to the next George Floyd or whatever corporate media tells us to get out and start protesting. But right now, protest the fact here in Los Angeles, 6 people are dying homeless every day. My brother just died a month ago, homeless in his van. We had a baby, a 1-year-old baby died last December because her mama was sleeping at the bus stop because the Black mayor, the first Black woman mayor here in LA, is more concerned about non-Blacks than her own people that's out here dying in these streets. So we just encourage people. Social media is a powerful tool, but these folks really not going to respect us till we get back in these streets and start shutting shit down again.
I like that. I love that. And again, we're going to make sure, Billion, man, we're going to make sure we keep posting this as well. And also, I do believe, public shaming of the traitors of your community definitely need to take place. I'm all about roasting. I'm all about shaming stupid behavior. Dog, you can't be sitting up under there with Sika DeWinfo for over 20 years, and then you turn around, you go up to one of them Diddy parties. Now all of a sudden you handing out eviction notices. You get what I'm saying? So I do believe in public shaming. I do believe that these individuals' names need to be called to task. If the local media won't do it, we know on our end we'll do it, and we'll definitely plug the names in to some other folks we know that'll get it going online as well. But to what you're saying is absolutely true. Go ahead, Sin. You can make your statement.
Oh, no, I was just saying I also agree with Billion and Brandi what they're saying here, because they're trying to – they're not trying to. They've put the Black community in a very bad situation. The Democratic Party always stated that they were supposed to be our allies in recent time, but they have never put out a bill or a policy that specifies Black people not for protection and not when it comes to our finances and income as well. You have right now recently, the Democratic Party have this plan for all these different immigrant groups, which, I'm not against immigration, okay? So nobody shoot me on that. I'm not against immigration, and, I love everybody. But you have Trump talking about we have to get immigrants over here for AI jobs, but you have a lot of Americans who are homeless and a lot of Americans that can, basically they need those jobs. And then you have the Democratic Party also saying, look, the immigrants come first, they get first dibs on these different types of employment. And then you also have Elon Musk saying at the top, we need more Indian people and other groups of people because Black people got low IQs. So both parties are playing in our face. And then, at the great point that Billion brought up, you can't even run over to the Democratic Party and be like, okay, well, I'm going to go with them because, white supremacy and all that stuff. But they play into white supremacy too. And what they do that is really fucked up is the Democratic Party will put people who look like you, that they talk like you seem like you could trust them, they know the lingo, like you said, Billion. Some of them even grew up in the same neighborhoods as you, and they still go and turn on their whole entire community and bring nothing back to the community.
I keep telling y'all, man, but like in Atlanta, even though it's black as a city, professors and stuff, and that's where I grew up at. I tell folks all the time, man, they've been having them DNC Diddy parties out there. You had to go out there and use it as a tool. Look, let's get over it. Trump, he erases with a lace front. You get what I'm saying? And then the ones on the left, they're going to be like, yo, we your best friend. And then, like you said, the mayor of the city, I believe nationally, 50% of the homeless population, or north of 50% of the homeless population, does constitute of a lot of Black folks, Black children, Black mothers, the women in children shelters. About the violence that they had to face. We know about the situation where they having older Black men, young Black children dying on the streets as well.
Sorry for your loss as well.
And we
You're losing your brother.
Yeah, sorry about that for you too, by the way, Billion. Can you speak though, even with that situation? Because I keep hearing the theme with you with your community. You said the first Black woman mayor of the city, and this is what people are kind of hesitant about the Kamala situation. All of these type.
Bass is her name.
Yeah, Karen. I seen
Karen
her.
Bass.
Yeah, Karen. Yeah, I seen her up there.
She's the one with the short haircut, right?
No, I think she has long hair, right? She got long hair. Yeah, I think
Short.
Oh, it's short hair.
Orange hair.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The symbolism, so they feel like, okay, we got a Black woman in office. That's enough. You said concerning like the Black homeless out there, they haven't been paying attention to that, or they've kind of. Is this one of those situations like it out there where you are, where they're like moving shelters outside the city? Because I seen them do it in Austin. They took some of the homeless shelters, or Dallas, Texas. They were trying to move them outside of the city because they wanted to rebuild these little inner cities and make them their own little gentrification Elysium hubs.
They did it recently in San Francisco.
And then I know out there where you guys are coming in at 2028, they're supposed to be having the Olympics out there. Do you think a lot of this rush, even with Sika DeWimple's children, this rush, that you think this has anything to tie into all of that? What do you think about that?
It's all of that. Yeah, it's under the guise, and they use certain things. Transportation. They got the train, the sports, entertainment. The SoFi Stadium, and then this idea of the Olympics is coming here. We need to clean up the city, so to speak. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, and what we really try to get Black people to see is, y'all just brought up the whole immigration issue. Between white folks who are homeless in Santa Monica, Venice Beach, Hollywood, wherever, they bring and accommodate all of them in the Black community, whether it be hotels or these new structures they're building. They say each structure is giving up 10% low-income housing or affordable housing. Mm-hmm. They bring the immigrants and all those folks and give them those accommodations while they're leaving our people out here on the damn sidewalks to die, or they put them in these little funky shelters and they say, oh, well, they don't want housing because they won't stay in these shelters. No, they want housing. They want the same housing you're accommodating to the immigrants, to these white folks from wherever you bringing them. But yet that's the continued disrespect. And again, these are Black officials overseeing this.
Yeah,
that's what makes this unacceptable. They have the resources, but they're choosing to not give them to us because they want us out of this city come 2026 when the World Cup comes, come 2028 when the Olympic comes. That's what they're trying to do is ethnic cleansing, is Black erasure specifically. Because again, they find the resources when necessary, but again, they are intentionally neglecting us. That's what's making us get so turned up on these Black misleaders.
And we have several of them. We have Holly Mitchell, we have Karen Bass, we got Marquise Dawson, we had Mark Ridley Thomas, and for years and years we knew that he was corrupt. And finally it was proven in the court of law, and this motherfucker's fighting this for his life to not go to prison at damn near 70 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're in. We put them in office, and then they don't do shit. And then we call them out, and then they wonder, why we come to City Hall and we're not buddy with them, because they constantly betrayed their constituents.
Crazy. That's like low intelligence because, and do they ever understand that if you allow your community to be removed, how the fuck are y'all gonna get elected in the future?
Well, yeah. Well, the crazy part about it,
it's the same concept like with these merchants that's getting eviction notices now.
Because they did all of that switching up.
They're not your friends. That's what we gotta understand. We don't have no friends.
No, you're right about that. You know what? And Billy, he brought up a great point as well with you, Brandi. I forgot about the World Cup. And then 2 years later, the Olympics. So, because I've been seeing this campaign.
The World Cup's coming to
yes, it's
LA
the World
first?
Cup and then the Olympics. Because I was trying to figure out, I was like, I'm seeing this campaign everywhere. I didn't see it when I was up there in Jersey. I didn't see it in parts of New York, Harlem, and all of them, right? Despite Mace and Cameron talking about we rep Harlem, I said, nigga, they wiping y'all out there.
I see what
but I kept looking at L.A. and Crenshaw. I was like, why is that shit so hyperactive? Like, it's very aggressive every time I see it. But you guys got two large events heading you all's way.
So they all trying to get prime cut real estate so their businesses and brands and everything can sell, and they're trying to put out the people who've been there to try to get that prime cut.
Right. Exactly. Because again, brothers and sisters, you figure are struggling to pay $2,500 a month for their leases, but then they could bring in these corporate entities that's paying $10,000. So that's the way they're seeing it.
Yeah, and then I was also looking. Billion, man, because you and Brandi Kane, y'all, you know, along with the other wonderful people of Africa Town, y'all really been out there. And again, I want to give you all your flowers. I mean, you know, I do want to give that to you directly because I was growing up in Atlanta. I'm used to seeing that energy. So, I see people can get on social media. It's cool. Nigga, you like a rapper, y'all like singers, fine, but you got real people in your community putting in groundworks. But I saw you out there assisting people when they was just randomly shutting down apartment complexes. I've been seeing a lot of that too. Can you talk about that? Not only that they're doing inflation with rent, but sometimes what they're doing, they're just shutting down the entire apartment complex. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, we got a few of those. A couple of them are actually ongoing battles, but basically get the Black people out first, and they lease or rent to immigrants for a while because they know once they decide to shut it down, they're gonna put up the least amount of fight. But that is another thing that has been happening with mass displacement. You got the projects in Watts. We got one right here. What's that, Brandi? The Dorset Village. They're still fighting.
Yeah, that's right here,
another one
right there by me, and it's very empty at this point. The Dorset Village is nowhere near the occupancy that it once was. You know, so that's one of them. The Jungles is going through the same thing. The Baldwin Hills Village over there, a lot of them are being displaced, and being just pushed out to farther areas. You know, the average rent here is $2,000. You know, for a 1-bedroom.
Brandi, can you do something? Can you break down the history of the Jungles? People may not know it, but it was one of the scenes in Training Day when Homeboy pulled up in there with the whole scene with Jake and all of it. Interestingly enough, at the Hollywood kind of went in that area, they had like what was it? It was a raid that went through there, and then they was getting people up out of there, and then they was talking about we need to crack down on crime over here. But then, as you said, they were cracking down on citizens that was minding their business where the occupancy rate are lower. Can you break that down further in like the Jungles and some of these other apartment complexes that go through the same thing?
So the Jungles, particularly now, that's a nickname that it was given because it was a wild place, and it was very riddled with gangs and violence in the 80s and the 90s and even into the 2000s and things like that. It's 17 acres, the property, so it's a very large proximity that it covers. You know, it was a scary place to be sometimes, but that is a place where a lot of our people occupied. You know, that was their residence. The place that a lot of people call home. The technical area is called the Baldwin Hills Village.
Right.
But I remember reading an article on it in 2012 in the Los Angeles Times. There was a big long article about it, how the city, you know, they wanted to basically enact eminent domain over that space, you know, under the you know, the premise that it was a hotbed for crime and drugs and gang activity. But by then it had significantly died down. So I knew that was an excuse. And that was just a part of the gentrification plot. Because I said, if y'all was going to do that,
y'all would have did it then.
Well, also, I want to add to what Brandi is saying here, because it's very important when she's talking about eminent domain. Remember that happened in New York during the jazz era, where a lot of the Black people owned a lot of real estate in upper and lower Manhattan. And they went and said, oh, eminent domain, these people are this and that. Nothing was wrong with those areas. Nothing was wrong with those Black people. But because they did
in the projects of Chicago, right?
Yeah, and I think about
Atlanta.
500,000 in the 1950s. I think 500,000? A crazy number of Black families were displaced.
Yeah,
because they had only a short amount of time to get their stuff and move. And this is the government doing it. This is literally fucking theft.
Yeah, also to let you know, and Gigi said, just to tie into what Brandi's saying here, he says, Solo, did you notice the impact of the Olympics on Atlanta during your upbringing? Yeah, I know people they talking about like, oh man, so many, it's gangs out there now. Everybody want to be a rapper, but I said, honestly, it went that way in 9/6. Like some folks just touching down in 2012, 2015, but in 1996, and then we had the Olympic bombing out there. That's when you started seeing them uprooting a lot of Black businesses. You had people that had to file lawsuits locally and things of that nature. But to Brandi's point, if they wanted to do any shielding or eminent domain, they would have did it when it was really hot. You don't wait until everything's kind of dying down. They're like, all right, guys, we got it from here. But this is to further what y'all are saying. And this is very important because I want you guys to pay attention. A lot of times you'll have blackface folk, again, that be up in them Republican hills with them Diddy parties, them DNC hills with them Diddy parties, and they come to tell you, yo, it's so great, man. The Olympics, man, they gonna come to Baltimore, man, and we need to push for it. But y'all need to see what they're doing to the local economy a lot of times with some of these folks in these situations. And this is what Billiongodsun and Brandi Kane they've been fighting for a long time, you know what I'm saying? And they keep fighting too, by the way.
And just to explain it to the chat, eminent domain, when they talk about crime-ridden areas, a lot of the times that don't have to be the case. Remember, when people got cleared out in Brooklyn, that was a middle-class black families. There wasn't no crime issue. Like, they cherry-pick, and they use it based off of the stereotype, because then people are just going to automatically believe, oh, yeah, black people crime, okay, this is why they're cleaning it out.
Yeah, and I just want, and also, because you know me, Brandi Kane, I'm going to ask you, can you please send me a list so I can do my research on some of these people, because these folks their names need to be all in the video, like Diddy. Their names need to be all on the tracks, and these names need to be mentioned, especially homeboy that was chilling in the hills with y'all. And he grew up under Sika, got all of the nourishment, then turns around and then evicts the daughter. Can you explain to us, like, how were they able to process such a fast eviction notice? Like, what grounds were they using? I mean, what were they trying to say, that they weren't taking care of business, or they just trying to, like, how would they process something that fast to get her up out of there after her father passes?
So, like I was saying earlier, they basically put most of the businesses who come into their properties on a month-to-month lease. So any business, any given month, they can, discontinue. So, yeah, just Sika died Juneteenth. So come July, instead of continuing or accepting Milan's payment, because Milan actually took over Sika's shop 6 years ago, and she's been paying the rent every month. So instead of accepting her payment in July, they simply responded by giving her that note. So that is one of the things they get to do by keeping people on a month-to-month lease, as opposed to other businesses normally get 5, 10-year, 20-year leases. Just two things that y'all spoke on. One, with the eminent domain. So in California, it's a lot of tension with this whole reparations thing. Oh, California is the first to get the reparations on the thing. We don't really go on social media, but a lot of us are not really feeling the way reparations is being pushed out here. It's basically being pushed as a welfare program. One of the things specifically with eminent domain, they are talking about giving back properties that were taken about 100 years ago or so. While at the same time, eminent domain is being used, like in Inglewood. All those stadiums you see right now, the SoFi Stadium, the Intuit Dome, thousands of people were displaced for those. And a lot of those people, properties were taken through eminent domain. So real reparations, the first step is that those crimes will not be repeated. So again, these are some calm down and vote for us again type reparation packages they're throwing out to us. But we know in other cities now, they're starting to mimic what's being done in California. We just want to make people aware this isn't reparations for the most part. We're upset that they didn't go for the money, the land, and every other form of real reparations first, including crime policies. Kamala was able to get some hate Asian policies, yes, but yet she's saying she doesn't push anything specific for black folks. So we're telling folks, even though they're saying California is making historic strides with this reparations, there's a lot of us who are really pushing back against what has been put on the table to this point.
Well, like Prince said, before you go, Prince,
go ahead.
Billion and Brandi, when you get a chance, give us a list of names of all of the people that y'all can give us that have sold the community out. And, people like Karen and all the politicians' name, and we'll make videos on them. Go ahead, Prince.
And just like it's people that are, that we would have to, name it in that regard, we also can't just take the individual credit. It's a whole community of people that works with Africatown Coalition. And we also, have to give the utmost credit to our elder B Hall, who she is the person who coined the phrase and started the push to rename Leimert Park Africatown. And she's one of our beloved and revered elders, and she's still around, but she has passed the torch to us, to do the physical work, as she has laid down much of the intellectual, and the physical, the groundwork, throughout the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, for us to lay down a blueprint for us to go off of. And then, we have also individuals like Damian Goodman from downtown Crenshaw, who led the effort to buy the Crenshaw Mall, and who has since, they have purchased several properties throughout the Crenshaw district, with the funds that were raised by the community to get the mall, since we were unfairly, denied, the purchase of the mall. So, just wanted to put that out there real quick that, it's it's a lot of people, behind this, with Africatown Coalition, Project 43, different entities that's in Africatown, different business owners, it's kind of like half and half. You got a lot of the merchants that are, they're standing on the right side of business, and then you got some that are, trying to hold hands with gentrifiers, and they're gonna pay the price.
I get what you said. Well, I mean, Billiongodsun and Brandi Kane, both of you all in the efforts of the people of Africatown, with Leimert Park, you guys have been selfless in this action. I've always enjoyed what you guys were doing, because realistically, you see a little bit of that or a lot of that, but it goes unnoticed. It's in here and there. But you guys are it's such a loud voice that it's a disservice for people on social media to not cover the situation. I get it. Everybody, they want to argue about conspiracies with certain things concerning other situations, but I think, to me, I feel personally it's all tied in together. And BK, Sin, and I, we had a private conversation off air, just let her tapped in there. We just think there's a grander conspiracy of some other stuff going on out here. By the way, I do want to touch back on one of the things that you and Billion was talking about. They did celebrate in the media about reparations. They was like, oh my God, California got reparations. They the first one. Y'all got 40 acres and a mule. That's it. These black people are free.
And then some beachfront was given back, then taken back.
Yeah, okay.
Because they couldn't really use it.
Right. Just the idea. Can you all break down how they were able to dictate what reparations are? They defined what reparations were for you all. They didn't meet you all's demands, or the people that represented your community. They didn't meet y'all demand. They told you guys what reparations shall be. Can y'all expound on that to further on what you both are saying?
So I'm most definitely acknowledge ADOS for really pushing reparations to where it's getting right now. A lot of young people got on board with it. However, California decided to create what they call the Reparations Task Force, headed by our sister Camilla Moore, who is one of the ones who is advocating that we get actual land and compensated. But they also put some old guard misleaders on that task force who basically was saying it would be too hard of an ask for us to ask for cash. One, because white folks wouldn't want to give it to us, and two, because California is supposedly in a budget deficit. Now, our thing is, anytime you sit down and negotiate, you go for the highest ask first, and let them show why and how they're going to break it down, and let the people who are against it expose themselves. But the Negro misleaders, such as Reggie Jones Sawyer, we actually ran a campaign in our primaries to prevent him from coming back to a city council position. But we were told he was one of the primary ones, in addition to a few others, who basically said they weren't going to ask for cash or anything of any real significance in the form of reparations. So it came to a compromise amongst the California Legislative Black Caucus to come forward with the reparations. I mean, the welfare packages for reparations that they did.
That's crazy. Okay, so wait a minute. So like, okay, so
But
the
migrants
United,
are getting
yeah,
$10,000 on the EBT. $14,000 in food stamp.
you're right.
$14,000 in food stamp.
Yeah, no, you're right about that, and we've seen this play out everywhere. So okay, so we talk about reparations. So why are we bringing up other white citizens and civilians when it was the United States government that this is what's Yvette Carnell and the ADOS movement? This is who they're indicting as some form of punitive recompensation of what is supposed to be given back or what is owed to black folks. Why are they talking about white people? What other white folks like?
White taxpayers will have to pay, but so what?
Well, who's paying? Okay, who's paying for them? Who's paying for the World Cup?
Us, the taxpayers.
All right, the tax. Okay, so all right, so those are things we're gonna go enjoy, right? We're gonna go to concession stands, right? When it comes to reparations, this has to do with the United States government
and the bailouts.
Yeah,
Remember the
right.
bailouts? White corporations were bailed out by taxpayers.
Yeah, so I think that's interesting. So they told you guys that. So basically, there was going to be just the idea that they said there's a reparation task force. That sounds crazy, right there. It's a reparations task force, and then they put an old vanguard on top of it to kind of limit the sisters movement. Is that correct?
Yep, some more good old gatekeepers.
Man.
Right. And the way they see it, they're getting paid. Whatever backdoor deals they're making, whatever tax dollars are paying their salary. So they're not in the position that one of the things I've been pointing out, whether we talking about California, across the US, or even as they're saying now in Kenya, the bourgeoisie agenda only benefits 30% of our population. So that means whatever programs they push, 70% of our people, whether it be here in LA, Uganda, wherever, Jamaica, 70% of our people are going to struggle, suffer, and even end up preying on each other because of the policies these gatekeepers push through. So that's why we had to prevent a Reggie Zone Sawyer from coming to our council district in LA, but we're also pushing a overall platform, no check vote, get no vote. We have to wake up and stop voting for these individuals who are only catering to 30% of our people.
You said something that I thought was a really smart move about the protest in Chicago against the DNC. Do y'all plan any more? Are y'all planning any more protests to like at the conventions beyond the convention, like Kamala during the stomping ground when she's touring around the United States for votes? Do y'all plan on having people showing up at some of those events as well?
If she bring her ass to LA, we gonna be there.
So what she gonna do? She gonna throw in
they quite often they quite often try to come to Africa Town. In 2020, we actually had to shut down Joe Biden's campaign. We're actually office in the location he tried to use as his campaign in 2020. This is our office now. So if Kamala comes, you best believe it's gonna be some funk going down.
So okay,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
They really did try to set up a fucking campaign office.
So wait a minute. So all right. So the candidates that come out there, like, well, what are they coming out there for? Like, what are they trying to say to y'all? Like, yo, we're gonna stop this shit from happening, or are they just gonna tell y'all to get out the vote? Like, what do they approach y'all with? What type of poison do they approach you with? Like corporate poison, I mean. Like, what are some of the things you guys have heard? The
selling points.
Yeah, the selling points that these Democrats have reached out to you all with.
They get, like I said, these new people to come. Basically, what are their opportunities in gentrification? How can they tap into and cash in on gentrification? Are they going to partner with Metro? Are they going to partner with these developers? Are they going to somehow partner with the Olympics when it comes? But they basically put that carrot in front of however you say it, put the carrot in front of the horse.
Right.
And leave these Negroes alone and basically try to poison. We've, over the past years, had to really stay in the streets and educate our brothers and sisters because they really try to use the gangs against us. Right now, the city has these programs where they call the GRID, Gang reduction and youth development, where they go and they find certain reps and from different hoods, and they basically try to put them on payroll to be security for these gentrifying projects. So to try to make us sound crazy when we come and we talk about shutting this shit down. But fortunately, our brothers in the hood ain't as stupid as they think. You know, we tell them to take the money, but don't interfere with us shutting shit down, because we're the reason they getting that money in the first place. So a lot of people are starting to see that game.
Okay, I'm glad that you. Go ahead, Brandi. Go ahead, Brandi. You want to say something?
I'm just saying that's the level of the trickery that they will go to stop grassroots efforts that we're making to combat, the gentrification. It's the age old, divide and conquer sort of a thing. It's like a COINTELPRO sort of a move to, but what they don't understand is that, we're hooked up with those guys too, and in touch with those street cats, and they respect Africatown and what we stand for. So they come to us sometimes and like, they know when shit ain't right, and like Billion said, they'll come and, pull our coattail to certain things and vice versa. And, so far it hasn't been too much pushback from them as, individuals, but, we understand that sometimes these entities try to put these individuals up to certain things to push their agenda.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Prince.
I'm sorry. I do have to ask this question, Love. I'm gonna let you finish. I want you to get your stuff off because they just brought up something with grid. We've been hearing about grid. I've been doing a little research about it myself. I've seen certain prominent people online that are supposed to be like czars for grid. But what you all just broke game down on me is that this program with some of the local guys, some of the local flag boys in the community, that they've been hiring them to protect the gentrifiers in this process. Is that correct? That's what you're saying with grid, one aspect of grid, because I want people to hear that, because we keep hearing about grid. Grid.
Absolutely. A lot of those guys, some of them, they don't care about the community and the greater good of it, and they will just take the check and try to, use that muscle if an organization comes through and say, hey, we don't want this gate around our park, or we don't want this construction taking place and ain't no black construction workers. So guess what? Today, y'all can't work, So, but then, like I said, for the most part, we don't run into it too much that they're willing to go against us to push that agenda. But, sometimes you will run into those that are, and that's why they go to that particular community, because it's just like how they try to make the immigrant community vulnerable. They know that, okay, well, you guys don't have a lot of choices. Some of y'all got records, and all right, you don't want to work for us, then go find a job somewhere else. And good luck with that. We willing to help you. So, help us out and do what we asking you to do. And sometimes it's not the most integrity filled thing to do.
I feel you. Okay, so now you and Billion, y'all just put another spin on it because y'all directly tapped in. Because I really was trying to figure out what the fuck is grid, like the entirety of it. So now that we see certain,
only one. That's an example.
That's an example. That I know. Yeah, there's one of them, but
that are under the guise of gang prevention or gang intervention or caring for the homeless, and you come to find out, they're really in it for the grant money.
For say it's something positive, but they're doing nefarious things with those type of titles.
The ministry of love is really the hate propaganda machine. I get what you're saying. So that's why you hear none of these czars for grid, just an aspect of one of these programs. That's why you never hear them, Billion and Brandi. That's why you don't hear them talk about what's been going on with Black Atlanta.
We'll give you another example. Recently, Billion, like the bigger than us. There's an organization. They come and do food giveaways in the village. And they have traffic control motorcycle cops, maybe 2 of them, maybe 4 at the most, because the food giveaway had began to grow. But they come and we notice there's a lot of non-melanated people coming through the village, but they come like under the guise of religion, and this is a Christian organization, so they praying in the village and giving out food and making hot food, and kind of got a feel good vibe going on. But next thing we know, they're bringing more and more and more law enforcement agencies to the village, and they got the sheriffs now, and they got the FBI, and we like, this is a fucking food giveaway. Why is it So we began to pressure them, so hey, we don't need all of these, murderous law enforcement agencies over here. This is not a festival. This is a food giveaway. We understand a couple bike cops, but we don't need the sheriffs over here. Particularly, they're well-known agitators to the Black community, and we police ourselves. And so, but eventually, they succumb to that pressure, and they have decided to relocate with that because they want to hold hands with too many police, and we ain't with that.
And it's interesting because, and y'all can correct me, if I'm wrong, because y'all, born and raised out there in Cali. But doesn't California have a lot of different diverse gangs? Like, just very, very diverse gangs? Why are they using the whole gang culture as an excuse to get in y'all way? But, y'all got so many other groups of people that run heavy with gangs as well, and they're not using that excuse to run up in their neighborhoods.
It basically comes down to fulfilling their agenda. We actively have been successful in disrupting this agenda for a while now. So if people are just, doing them, or they going along with the agenda, then yeah, they let it be what it is. But because we have mobilize and organize people for so long, they try everything possible to disrupt what we're doing. And just another point in this, I don't know if y'all remember in 2020, the whole defund the police campaign.
Yes.
Right, I remember that.
So what ended up happening, a lot of police departments got defunded, and that money was put into what they call community safety programs, which is basically another part of GRID. But they started financing more groups to come into our communities of people just released, gang members, former gang members, and again, taking a position to like we have Metro right here. So they use one group called Second Call on Metro. And then throughout the city, they got different entities like that. But basically, whatever supports the agenda, they put the money into. They even tried to pay us at one point for a particular parking lot where a number of unhoused people were at, basically trying to tell us to go clean the homeless people up. One of the local gangs congregates back there. They wanted us to try to use our influence to talk them to not hang out. And we was like, no, go house the homeless first, provide some jobs and opportunity for the young brothers hanging out back there, and then we'll think about being the monitors for this parking lot. But they tried to go ahead and start gating off the parking lot, so we had to shut that down. But again, because we will not cooperate, that's why they keep trying to find different entities, be it the merchants, gang members, whoever, to counter us so they can move forward with their agenda like they're doing with Mark Bradford right now.
Yeah, no. I'm glad you guys are breaking this down. I wanted them to hear you guys' take on this firsthand because, I've been online. I've been hearing people like, I got $500,000 contract with Grid, and it's about the children, and all this other stuff. But I'm not hearing them talk about what I see you and Brandi Kane and Billion and the wonderful people that are out there with Africa Town and Lemire Park as well. And we got some of the folks in the chat too, by the way. They shouting y'all out. But I do see that there's a disconnect there. So these are all working entities cooperating together to try to uproot because you guys are still standing on y'all square out there.
Yeah, I was twice offered those $500,000 contracts. First time in 2010, we were campaigning against then Mayor Dorn. Then the second time in 2013, right after we took part in shutting the city down for 3 days, they offered me a deal for the second time. And that second time when I denied it, later that same day, that night in Watts, right after I walked out my people's house, they had 3 young Latinos roll up on me and start popping at me with pistols. Fortunately, there were cars between us. But yeah, I know for a fact that's what they're paying Cats 5 these contracts to become a new form of police in the community.
All right, so and I'm gonna let Sin go. I want you to go. I'm just responding back. You know what, Sin, you go ahead, because I'm gonna be running my mouth all day. You go ahead, love. You say what you gotta say.
Oh, I was just gonna say, since you brought up the Latino community, what do they? I can't remember the woman's name, but I'm sure y'all will. Y'all remember the Mexican lady who was caught behind the scenes
on the hot mic,
saying
Mary Martinez.
How do they feel though about how do the Latin community feel about the fact that she said indigenous Mexicans are ugly and that she didn't want them to be seen? Like, is their community like, do they have an issue with that, or are they taking the money? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
It's split. I mean, they're having some of the same issues like us. The ones that are more indigenous, the ones that are more conscious, grassroots, they're not with it. But then the ones who, could pass for white, think they white, part of assimilating into the American dream, they don't give a damn. They support it. Kevin De Leon, he's still in office. We heard Nuri's talking about moving to Arizona to run for office. So even on our radio out here, folks are in an uproar about that conversation with city council, but you turn on black hip hop stations with mostly Latino DJs and you hear that same conversation damn near every day amongst them. So it's a large population of them who are in support of that mind frame.
Yeah. Man, this is crazy because it's this it's the programs programs that y'all saying they kicking out there. But go ahead, Brandi Kane, because the programs that we helping the youth. And Billion, I want to say hats off to you because you said they rolled up on you with that check a couple times and you like, dog, I ain't rocking with it. But the fact that they went and hired some henchmen to pop at you, and then Brandi Kane, she was telling me like some time ago that she was telling me about some of the stuff y'all was going through about them hiring in people to try to scare y'all or whoop on some of y'all out there. I think that's something that's interesting because we keep hearing more about this grid shit all online and people doing the football practices and all this other stuff. But y'all are saying it's just a guise just to help further this gentrification agenda. They just paying some of these folks in this money, and they get to walk around like they doing something in the community.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I was saying, this time brothers are more aware to the game, and one time I was actually jumped by like a whole football team of cats, and that just happened to be brothers who didn't know me on the spot. Once it got back to they higher ups and other folks, they ended up apologizing. And that's the position I really encourage a lot of brothers to take. It's just like a prize fight. If it comes to where we get into a fight, let that fight be the fight. And then once we go back, we get on the phone, we find out what really happened. Let's not allow it to escalate into us falling into a fratricide, a war against each other, because that's ultimately what they want. But as long as we can be mindful and get past those little immediate skirmishes, it is what it is.
Oh, I get what you're saying too. Like, so the higher ups in those spaces are hip to the game that eventually the end goal is to get rid of them too.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, they just don't care because they're not invested in this community. They don't mind riding off into the sunset, or they know that they will have the means to go wherever they want to go. So it's just a selfish, kind of act and mentality. And I was going to say, as far as with the community, the Latin community, and if they were in an uproar necessarily about the comments that were made, I would say that, for the most part, no. It was a lot of indifference or silence, with the exception of those that are, connected with us here in the grassroots movements, but we tend to see the same faces over and over again. It is not this camaraderie that people that don't live here might think that there is. I think that much like we are across the nation, just like, here in Los Angeles, Black people we on our own, and we need to understand that.
Hey, Brandi, I got a question for you because you've dealt in music as well. You brought up some concern, and Billion, he brought this up earlier with the Latin DJs, but the largest black radio station out there, and even the largest black DJ out that way. I mean, have they? Because you said you guys are saying in their community on Latin radio, large Latin airways, they're having this conversation openly. But you're saying, is it true that like with to the point that you brought up with the larger black DJs, they're just skirting around this conversation? Shouts out to Travis Smiley too, by the way, for putting you guys on, getting that information out there. But why aren't the larger black DJs not having the conversation when the larger Latin DJs and their stations are having the conversation? What is that about, Brandi, from your perspective?
True, because there aren't hardly any. That's part of it. They're disappearing. And then it's kind of a same sort of a self-preservation situation that they've probably find themselves in. If they get to talking too much, they're gonna be out of a job, and they better go figure out how to do their thing like you guys and be independent content creators. And a lot of people may not have the capacity to do that, or the creativity, or the funding, or or the wherewithal, or whatever it takes. So yeah, I think that conversation is not being had because we are disappearing from that field. That's just the basics of it. We got a few left, but and that's not to say that this is no slight to the Hispanic community or nothing like that. We're just these are just some of the facts that is going on there. We are undergoing a black erasure, and even in our radio stations, so our issues are not going to be discussed amongst I mean, I heard there was a recent controversy a little bit after Juneteenth. There's some Mexicans that felt that they were excluded from the Kendrick concert and all of that, but they were educated, and then they so there was a small discussion that I did actually hear on FM radio about Juneteenth, and and the Hispanic DJs, they were compassionate within their conversation and with their new understanding of what Juneteenth was about. So
man, that's crazy.
I heard a recent discussion, being had, but it was after, it was kind of after they were kind of trying to do damage control at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Because black people are still the face of the popular.
It wasn't like they were just big shouting out Juneteenth on the radio as Juneteenth was happening.
Because
it was,
like you said, Travis, I think is the only black-owned radio station right out there in
Travis Smiley
or California.
There's KJLH.
You got KJLH.
Stevie Wonder.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about that one. I forgot about that one. I mean, I'm kind of positively ignorant. I didn't understand. First of all, I mean, I wouldn't get mad about a holiday I don't know anything about. Number one, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know.
I think y'all saw Kendrick Lamar on stage. Y'all got happy, but it was like, hey man, we want to be a part of that. But you got to do your history about Juneteenth, because I mean, I don't say nothing about Cinco de Mayo.
Well,
you get what I'm saying?
Black people are in a weird position because people saying we have to join them for everything, but then some of their spokesperson trying to call us the face of imperialism. I'm like, but the air rope sold out with the Western powers, so how are black people that? All right, whatever. And then you got the pro-Israel people. Black people betrayed us. We was doing our things together with civil rights, and I said, yeah, but PragerU, y'all, is a Jewish thing, and y'all was pushing for black studies to be pushed out in Florida, so
they want all the black folks' attention before they can pay their Metro PCS bill.
Right, and Mexicans and all them love all y'all groups of people, but then the Mexicans, they're like, yo, y'all want to chill, we want to do hip hop, but then you dissing, and I never see any black person be like caring about what Jewish people are doing. No one try to get in the way of Jewish people's money. Nobody's trying to get in the way, like you said, Cinco de Mayo. Go ahead, have
Black
it.
people be trying to get as many eyes off of them as possible. The problem is, like, black folks, there's too many people, Jews, Mexicans, and like the Iranians.
The attention though is two-faced. It's too much two-faced energy because people want to hang out. They want to be a part of the culture. They want to do this and that.
Yeah.
They act like they want to be friends, but then they also are anemic and say, okay, if we're fighting for reparations, they come out and lobby against us, and none of us go out and lobby against their shit.
Well, half the times we don't even know what they're lobbying for. We don't know what the fuck they lobbying for. I'm just being real with you, like, because it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, what we complain about June? Do y'all know what Juneteenth is? Like, I'm going back and forth on. Hey, como te va? Do you even know what Juneteenth is before you get tight? Because you think Juneteenth is Kendrick Lamar's record label. That's what you think. Okay. So, like, that's the thing about it. But, I do want you guys, I would like as much attention as you guys can get because y'all are doing real wonderful work out there. And I'm so sorry about, what happened with the brother Sika. I know how that is to have patriarch and matriarchs and grand patriarchs and matriarchs in the community, and they fall, and then people try to come through and destroy their legacy. So I've seen that growing up firsthand. But what we're going to do, we're going to definitely make sure we push this line in this story here for you all, with the effect, the reach that we have. We're going to try to, use our voices, as much as responsible as we can. We was talking about, even when we talked about the Drake and Kendrick thing, we was always coming from it from a different angle. It wasn't just about like, I don't like Drake. I don't even care that, the boy don't write his rhyme. I think the boy can't read, my personal opinion, but that's another conspiracy. But I'll say this. What I just don't like is how you're going into communities and you're activating gang politics. You're playing with gangs in the community that actually affect what goes on. So now, they got this thing where they're trying to play up, just like you guys beautifully stated about that whole situation with the Mexicans and what went on with Juneteenth, where there's some people trying to go behind that and turn that into a real situation under the guise of entertainment. Just like we hear more and more about this GRID program too, by the way. And y'all paid attention online. Y'all know who's been out here talking about this, but they ain't been talking about what's been going on with Africa Town. So now it makes sense to me, because I'm thinking like, how are these people getting $1.1 million contracts, and then they're telling me that they're shutting down stores out in these areas, or what's been going on in Lemire Park. So we just want to make sure you guys understand the art of propaganda. You got, of course, they're going to say black propaganda and white propaganda. They're going to make the white one positive and the black one negative. Well, this is positive black propaganda right here. We want you guys to put a face with Billiongodsun. We want y'all to put a face with Brandi Kane. Like Brandi Kane says, she says, it ain't just us, it's a whole community. So we want you guys to be able to have that promoted as much as we can, and anything through our socials, as much as we can push it. That's why when Tavis Smiley launched what he did on his end, we supported the brother. You get what I'm saying? So, like, again, I think black folk need to understand when you have a common interest, you don't always have to agree with everyone. There's some things, we don't agree with Roland Martin about, but there's some of the stuff he do in his community that has helped children transition from high school into, the universities, getting their own degrees, starting their family, breaking generational curses. I think Billiongodsun and Brandi Kane are equally important, in the community of Africa Town are equally important as well.
Roland Martin needs to use his platform to have Billion and Brandi Kane go on there and not just be pro Kamala, but to force the issue that we need a specified black bill and policies, not just just talk. Also, Brandi, when you was talking about the media and the whole radio stations, for causes like this, we don't mind showing people how to use certain programs, because we need for black people in politics and hip hop media to be able to do these type of things to monopolize this market. They got a lot of pretenders who pretend to be independent creators, but we know they signed up to the same talent agencies. They're getting investments and all that, and they try to pretend to be like they're independent, but they're not. Then all of a sudden they just magically on the Breakfast Club or sitting down with academics. But so we'll put in that time, because we need more people to flood the internet with their own media outlets and brands.
Yeah, that is crazy because you're like, how that man get on Breakfast Club? He was just on Twitch with 500 followers. You get your ass up there.
Yeah. I'm definitely we're willing to take you guys up on that. You know, that sounds good to me for sure. And yeah, we're definitely gonna, you know, we'll just keep on fighting the good fight and, you know, putting in this work. It's you know, it's not for our personal, you know, glorification at all. It's just, you know, we do what we feel that needs to be done, you know, for our own selves. You know, we're part of the community too. You know, this is a part of our own individual concern for ourselves, our family members, our immediate family, our elders. You know, if we want to, you know, create families down the line and we want to settle here in Los Angeles, you know, these are all concerns. You know, it's not just about us or, you know, to show our face, you know, for a pat on the back. You know, this is serious business, you know, that's concerning, you know, all of our people across the globe. You know, like Billion said, you know, my heart rejoiced when I saw them people in Kenya. You know, I have people that I communicate with over in Nairobi that I've been communicating with, you know, for a long time, many years. And, you know, I saw them standing up and up, you know, rising up as a people. And, you know, like I said, my heart smiled when I saw that. And I'm like, yeah, you know, that's what we need to do here, you know? So
it's happening.
Like Billion said, we have to pull on the you know, the spirit of our ancestors, that warrior spirit, and you know, all pay attention to what's going on with our different communities. And that's the great thing that we do have this tool called the World Wide Web, you know, that we can't see a little bit quicker than what's, you know, than we used to, you know, what's going on over in Kenya, what's going on in France, you know, what our people might be going through in Haiti, in the DR, you know, when they're getting deported and persecuted, you know, in different parts of the world, you know, just like we are here, and vice, it goes, you know, both ways. You know, when I was over in France, you know, the Black people, they come to me concerned, you know, like, hey, what's going on in America? Why are the police killing y'all like that? You know, we don't like it over here in France. You know, what can we do? You know?
I'm glad you said that. No, BK, I'm glad you said that. That's very important. I know we got like ADOS and FBA. I think ADOS is very good about weeding out sellouts that are pretending to be, you know, amongst us in this regard. But also, people got to keep in mind, one of the reasons why you even had the inspiration of Afrobeat is because of what Africans were seeing Black people go through in the 50s and 60s. And they were inspired to go do their own thing. Yeah, they was inspired, right? Yeah, right where y'all at, all over too, by the way. So I want to keep that in mind. The reason why you have to be mindful of like a lot of this negative propaganda of y'all images, of our images publicly. That's why I say a rapper, an industry rapper can get tight all they want. They can jump in the chat all they want. Prince Solomon, Sincere Ignorance, we keep the same energy all the time. It's because this is a global advertising of an image. So when you have people all over the world, they're watching all of this. That's why they responded to the whole "not like us" situation, because, you know, somebody went around here trying to make a mockery of Black imagery. You know, even in that regard, you can see that can be corrected. Now, Brandi, you had put on your Instagram, I think it was a couple days ago, concerning Fatburger and the marathon sign. Can you break down to the folks, like, what do you think was going on with that, and does that tie into what Billiongodsun and you all were saying earlier about people trying to push the organic culture out of Crenshaw? Like, what were you noticing with the Fatburger sign in the Marathon store, where the Nipsey Hussle mural is exactly?
Well, I frequent the location. I'm nearby there. I went there one night, and the employee, he told me, he said, "Oh yeah, you know, by the way," he gave me a flyer. Said, you know, in the next couple of days, we'll be changing the name into the Marathon Burger. I said, okay, that's dope, you know. And on the inside of the location was a big collage of a whole bunch of pictures of Nipsey and different members of the community. And this has been there since 2014. Mm-hmm. Recently, as of recently, I don't see that collage in there anymore. As soon as the Marathon Burger marquee went up, it came right back down. And now it says premium burger. So I really am not too sure what's going on with the behind the scenes as far as the business aspect of it. The only thing I can imagine is possibly, you know, maybe maybe Sam is just not having the same involvement with it, and maybe there was some sort of trademarking thing with them using the marathon name. That's the only thing I can really hypothesize about it. I really don't know much about it, but I just know that it said Marathon Burger, and then next thing you know, I saw them taking it down, and it said Premium Burger. So, but I do know that Sam is working on the plaza where the Marathon store is located, and they are making some new plans. I believe one of the buildings will be concentrated on youth development, something to that degree. They have it looking nice. I see, there's construction going on over there, and I see contractors there, usually kind of late night, wee hours and stuff like that. But yeah, that's all I really know about the burger joint. But the mural is still there. Luckily, that our brother Ink One, he did a beautiful mural right there on the side of that Fat Burger. It's very accurate imagery of Nipsey and some Amharic writing, some of the ancient African, writing up there, to represent the Eritrean culture. It had gotten graffitied up, several times a couple of years ago, and it had caused some things to take place in the streets. But since then, it's been untouched and unbothered, and it's still sitting there. And we got to see Ink One yesterday. He was on stage at Rhyme Fest, also painting a new painting. And but it looks like the Marathon store and that plaza is being reimagined and reinvigorated. So I think the people are looking forward to that. And I think that once that takes place, that'll be another prime location over here, and be a tourist spot once again. It'll bring a lot of more traffic over here, and hopefully things can just remain secure and safe at that location, going forward.
I get you. Also, one of the things that they've been doing too, Billion, he brought this up as long as you did, Brandi Kane. Independent merchants, we know that's a huge that's a huge heel of the community of Africatown, Lemire Park. Is it true that they've been kind of getting more stringent with people, whether they're selling things without a quote unquote a merchant license or some form of licensing now? They've been kind of like giving people fines, things like that. Because Billiongodsun, I seen in one of your streams you spoke about something of that nature. They're trying to interrupt the economy of a lot of the local merchants.
Well, that's actually one of the I'll say temporary victories we've won. We've won where they have backed up off of they've actually opened up more spaces for vendors to set up now. Like for a while they were saying you couldn't set up by like Dodger Stadium, Crypto Arena, but now they are allowing that in our communities. They have backed enforcement up for now, at least. And these are some of the things, some of the Black officials have helped to finally bring forward for Black street merchants. For the longest, the Latino community were the primary ones who were fighting for those rights, receiving those resources, but it's been more across the board. Our thing is in the village, they have a street repair pending, and that will move the vendors from the location they're in right now for the period of time that the repairs take. And we know like the last one they had, initially we were told a few weeks or a couple months, and it ended up being several months. And with that, sometimes people end up having to relocate. And again, it breaks up a lot of the numbers. So those are things we're being vigilant with. The current councilwoman, her son is actually a street vendor, so she's been a lot more favorable towards that. But she is in a runoff with Grace Yu, a Korean American who has ran for the seat several times. So we're paying attention to that. But we just know across the board, we just got to be vigilant in whatever's happening over the next 2-4 years and beyond.
Okay, that's pretty good, and we're going to be making sure with the listenership that we do have that we at least keep them abreast of things. Even some of the people that are out by where you guys are, some of them, they're familiar with it. Some of them may not be as familiar with this particular saga that's been taking place. Seeing you wanted to say something like you was about to
No,
say.
I just want to know, Billion and Brandi Kane, is there any other point that y'all feel is important to mention right now for the people to know?
I'm gonna say across the board, I'm really trying to get us to know whatever we think we're going through individually, don't believe the hype. You know, talk to people about what you're going through and find out. You'll find out more of us are going through that. And it's actually systemic. I'm talking about everything from the so-called mental health challenges we're having, the depression, the anger, to housing, to being able to buy food. All of these are results of systemic attacks. And where we're trained, oh, you know, I need to go find another job. I need to make more money. Or I need to stop dealing with these fools who making me sick, or all these other ideas. It's just like in them vampire movies. Not until you deal with the head Dracula, get rid of him, everything else starts to open up. And that's what we have to understand. It's not about responding to housing. It's not about responding to the police, but it's dismantling this system that is issuing all of these attacks on us. That's one of the reasons we're going after the banks. The banks are the institutions through which a lot of the money's being funneled into the police, funneled into gentrification, funneled into the prisons. So we're going after the Draculas, and it even trickles down individually. Like Brandi was saying, her heart smiled when she saw Kenya. When you start going in motion, fighting back against this system, it removes a lot of that depression. It heals a lot of those aches and pains. So start looking at it more from that angle as opposed to what you think you're just going through as an individual.
There you go.
So beyond anything else, Billion, you are saying here that the source for all of this is the banking order. They're the ones who are calling the shots. Let's say maybe a politician does wake up and think, you know, maybe I'll negotiate with the black community. It's the banking orders that are funding these politicians, stuff that are basically disrupting that type of engagement.
Right. Yeah. The
White
politicians
supremacy,
have power.
the banks of white supremacist institutions and agendas. Ultimately, my belief is white supremacy. I know there are different folks that believe there are other entities that's really pushing this, but I'm saying whether it be the Zionists, whether it be the American white boys, whether it be the white supremacists in Britain, colonialism, imperialism, white supremacy are the things we have to remove. And the bank is one of their head institutions.
Absolutely. No, you're not wrong about that. You know, and you're not wrong in that belief, Billion. Come on, you got people out here believing it's the reptilians. So, I mean, you good. You good. It's very simple. A corporate infrastructure in an order that lay things out there, and they definitely a lot of times you see them moving against the black working class. You know, even the black middle class, and even some of those bougie elites that feel like, you know, I got a leg up because my partner is over here in this area too, and they find that they get crossed up in the end as well. What are some of the ways, just to follow back up, what are some of the ways that the people can really support you, and how can they reach out to you? Because a lot of times we also have other folks that don't be in the chat that may want to reach out to you all as well, you know, concerning what's been going on with Africa Town, Lemire Park, and Crenshaw in the greater Los Angeles, Black Los Angeles too, by the way.
Yeah, if you're here in LA, come see us. You know, we're in Africa Town. There's only so much we can go into through these devices, but come see us. Mouth to ear, you know, we could really share, build, identify where you at. If you can't get to us and you are in other areas, you can reach out to us on Instagram. We have Africa Town Coalition with an underscore at the end. My personal page is Billiongodsun, BillionGodsun, and we're also on YouTube.
Any last words or anything that you feel everyone need to pay attention to before we close out?
I really love what Billion said, that it's, you know, it's a bigger sense of a spiritual healing when you kind of do some of this work and you fight the good fight. Like I said, I like to call it, you know, we fighting the good fight against racism as a whole.
Yeah.
And what everybody can do is really, like you said, if you're local and you can come and tap in with us and join forces with us, then cool. We welcome you if your heart is in the right place. Other than that, look around your own backyard and your own community, and I'm sure that you can, find something, that needs to be addressed within your community. And, we all can take notes from each other and from the past, and so that we can create, a brighter future.
No, that's firework. And another reason why I wanted, the people to be able to listen to what you all are saying, because some of the points that y'all are bringing up is happening right in front of them, but maybe they're not putting that together. Maybe they have somebody that, they left Harlem or they left Atlanta, they left Jersey, and they went somewhere and they come back. Like you said, their art got sold for $10 million and they coming back in, and then they're saying, how can you participate in gentrification, and how it can work best for you while at the expense of folks within your community.
Everybody, also the links are in the description box for y'all to head over and support Billion, Brandi Kane, Africa Town, as in the description box, and also Africa Town Instagram pages pinned at the top of the chat.
All right.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all so much.
Yeah, hey, we appreciate it. It's all love. And again, you guys send it that list of names so we can do our research on the back end for y'all, and then we can start highlighting, some of these things. You get what I'm saying?
All right, yeah, y'all shout out to Black Men Build, Africa Town Coalition, BLM Grassroots, you know what I'm saying? A lot of our good people downtown Crenshaw. Shout out to Thought Crime, Sincere Ignorance, you know what I'm saying? Prince Solomon, much love to y'all. Really appreciate y'all tapping in with us, you know what I mean? West Coast stand up, South Central stand up. All my folks across the board, let's do this together. Black power every hour.
All right.
Black family, united, we are the dominant force on this planet. Let's stop the bullshit. Let's do this. It's our time.
You black too strong.
Shouts out to it. There you go, man. There you go, Billion. You and your family, right? I love that. I love it, man.
Back there. That's the headquarters. Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up, man. No, that absolutely. We're gonna definitely tap back in with y'all after the stream, because we're gonna do some follow-up things. I want y'all to send us that information so Cindy and I can look into it, and we can piece it together. Some other think pieces that we're gonna be throwing out there as well. When we do these live streams, we get all these other folks in here too, so they can see what's going on in their backyard, because it ain't just happening where y'all at. So 9 times out of 10 it's happening right in front of them. They just don't know what it is. You get what I'm saying? So we appreciate both of y'all, and to everybody at the headquarters, 2 billion too, by the way.
Yes, indeed. That's our soldiers right there. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely. Much love, friends, and sincere. Thank you for having us once again.
No doubt.
We appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do here, folks, as you guys can see what's been going on, and thank you so much, Brandi and Billion. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. We're going to give them a round of applause, too, by the way.
Absolutely. No, that was a great stream.
Yeah.
We got part 1
Yeah.
up as well.
Yeah, so
when this live show, when it's done generating, we'll have the end video for y'all to check out and all that as well. We need to create our own media hub,
Yes.
our own digital product,
yeah.
technology, so on and so forth. But we also have to remember what Billion and what Brandi Kane is talking about is happening everywhere. It's happening in New Jersey. You got to understand, you being popular is not going to save you.
No.
Okay? You being popular is not going to save you. You see the two-faced energy. These institutions want us to be the face of things as a stepping stone. Remember what they call us. In those spaces, they call us stepping stones. People to get things going, people to get things started, and people to kick out.
Yeah.
I just gotta be honest with you. I mean, it goes into every fashion. You cannot trust them. You gotta trust each other and hold the line if you want to have financial prosperity. You can't sell out. Look, it happens even in occultism. Pascal Randolph, a lot of the stuff that the Rosicrucians learned, he was able to get it from indigenous people around the globe. They took his information, he got, deleted. So you gotta, even look at what Billion and Brandi said. There's people in the community sold them out,
yes,
to be with Chase and them, only for Chase to say, hit the road, Jack.
Yeah.
And if you late by a second, matter of fact, fuck being late, You getting kicked out anyway.
We just not renewing it, and we kept you on the month to month. See, while you was getting your people, you was crossing up in their back. We didn't even give you no 12-month. We didn't give you a 5-year contract.
No.
We didn't give you nothing.
They did it with UPN.
You got to stand in line like everybody else on this month to month. And the reason why y'all see us talk the way we talk, because see, it starts with media. It starts with the propaganda. So the propaganda, as you saw, Billion and Brandi Kane stated, and again, representatives, great ambassadors too, by the way, of Africa Town. So let that not go unnoticed. But what they always do tell you is, man, come on, man, this is how you can get in on this money, right? That's what they tell you to do. Like, how can you participate? What did Jay-Z say? You gotta gentrify your own. I mean, when he got on stage, I didn't know what that mean because, you know, y'all had the Barclay situation take place. And when I touched down in New York and I went to talk to some of the people in the area, they talked about their families being displaced. So when they tell you this is how you can get in, first it's the propaganda. So then when y'all hear us say what we say about, let's just say hypothetically, some of these situations y'all see in quote unquote media, black media, because there's hip hop media, but that's up under black media, right? Let's go to black media. This is where you get into these situations where somebody can sit up in front of a black radio host's face and laugh about George Floyd, right, all day. And then they'll tell them, well, shit, I mean, you know, we may disagree on it, but can you tell us, how does the theme for Family Matters go? Right? When you get into those spaces, and this is what they've done. This is why most of the media that y'all see, quote unquote, black media has been co-opted. Just what Brandi Kane and Billiongodsun said. They were asked, or they were told, this is how you can participate in the gentrification of your quote unquote your culture, your people's history, and your media. And then look what you guys saw what Billiongodsun and Brandi Kane said. They had people in the community sitting up under Sika Dwimpo for over 20 years, leave the community and then assist in kicking his child or his daughter out of her own place in the destruction of the community.
Well, and to this, you know, y'all already heard me said I'm not voting for Trump. I'm not voting for Kamala either. You know, what Billion and Brandi Kane just laid out here, I cannot vote for Feel Good. Feel Good don't mean shit to me because you're still trying to kick out black people as well. So I can't support a party that get their juice and energy from the black community and then put us last. The fact that Karen, who's a black woman, is putting black people last, and I can't support people who are stupid. I can't support people who don't comprehend. If you do not feed the black community, there will be no future for your kids. I think these people are slow as fuck. I think these people don't really have the brain cells there. The fact that you have zero energy of self-preservation, where you're so lazy you can't even push a bill or a policy that protects black people from the police and white supremacy groups and terrorist groups. But y'all, on both ends, the Democrats and the Republicans was able to pass the Stop Asian Hate bill with no pushback from either side. I'm disgusted with both parties. But I'm especially, of course, disgusted with the Democratic Party that claimed to be the new Republicans. Because remember what happened with the Southern Strategy. A lot of the liberals that were over in the Republicans from the Abraham Lincoln side in line switched over to the Democrats. And we all know the history of that. But y'all the same old, same old. You know, again, disgusted with you blackface morons who cosplay as black, but this is what you're doing to your people. You know, Billion and Brandi Kane and the rest of the people of Africa Town are not bad people. These people aren't criminals. These people wake up every day, work hard for their community, and it's not just them. You're doing it in Detroit. You're doing it in Newark, New Jersey. You're doing it everywhere. You're doing it in Atlanta. And I also got to say this because this is very important. Migrating to different parts of the United States is not going to stop just because they stalk us. I know a lot of black people left from Atlanta, and I granted because y'all, a lot of y'all was family people and people was running up in your homes with guns. But you running even to North Carolina, and North Carolina being peaceful for now, and the parts that you are with your families, they're going to go there too. And then magically they're going to have gangs or something there where they're going to talk about crime and all that when y'all was living your middle class family lives, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're on your doorstep too. So this is happening everywhere in the United States. There's nowhere to run. If you don't make a stand now, and this is also to you rich niggas up there in high spaces, even in the hip-hop media. If you think selling out black people is going to make you money, you are mistaken, because the new rappers will look like whatever, Eon, whatever the fuck his name is, IAN, and they will look like Aiden Ross and sellouts like Academics. If you don't make a stand for your community now, that is what it's going to look like. And Academics is not going to be there longer either, because remember, Prince made this great statement when he saw that Aiden Ross got the real interview with Donald Trump, and Academics only got his son.
Man,
and you saw he was disappointed.
Let me tell y'all something real quick, man. And I want to say shouts out to Billiongodsun, and Brandi Kane. Brandi Kane always been sliding through. In fact, when we first started Thought Crimes, Brandi Kane was one of the first people that sat down and interviewed with us, and she talked about, the things she survived in the industry, and what she was tapped into, And, we always appreciative of her in that regard, and we always appreciative of Billiongodsun. And, when I was a kid growing up, Crenshaw was one of those communities, of course, where, the proper ambassadors, of course, was always one of those communities as a kid I always wanted to go visit, because, I used to meet so many dope people from Crenshaw that would just be in Atlanta, and they were tied to that wonderful black history out there. Just like if you mention Durham, or if you mention, the last, stop concerning the Underground Railroad, which was found in New Jersey, before we get into New York, then you'll see. So for me, this definitely means more than just, arguing about white women in micro braids. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care about that. But here's the other side of it real quick. If you got to sell out your folk for some money, nigga, there ain't no money.
There is
no money.
You think
right? There is no money.
Your children not gonna be let into them doors
for the shit they got you doing, and you count it up. You got to ask yourself, is that it? That's all you made?
I'm glad you
get
said
what I'm
that
saying?
too, Prince, because they're like, if I'm someone who's a villain, and I don't give a fuck about black people, and you sold out your people, okay, you got the job done. Let's say it's 20 years later. All you stupid celebrities who did this shit.
That's all you got?
If I was them, I'm not letting your kids into shit. You did the job, and I'm going to get rid of y'all too. Your kids is not going to have generational wealth, because our banks own your company. So you think you're going to be passing it off to your kids. I mean, if they marry with our kids, then maybe. Because that's how far it goes. But if not, they're not getting shit. And that's how it goes. So if for y'all who playing these stupid games, y'all going to get horrible, horrible rewards.
Yeah, so I'm doing some additional research right now for everybody. Sin and I, we're still doing our thing concerning certain informations out there. I thought with Brandi Kane, and I want to get, and I want to thank them so much for this was like a short notice situation. They were, we sent the request out there. They turned around like within a couple of days and jumped on the horn with us. And again, if they have anything concerning podcasts, anything they want us to cut, or anything they need us to show them behind the scenes, it would be our blessings to be able to assist them with that, because Crenshaw, Black Los Angeles is, it's a very important situation, because give you an example, like Sin, spoke about Atlanta. Yeah. You guys know about all of the black people that are having to leave New Jersey, because you'll find a lot of black folks from New Jersey and Atlanta. You find a lot of black folks from Atlanta in Dallas. So, you got to think about this. Wherever you go to build things up is where they come. Wherever you go, black people can go somewhere and find a piece of land of Atlantis in the middle of the ocean to make it hot. Here come the gentrifiers.
I'm going to go to Ghana.
Yeah. They're showing up on dolphins.
They're showing up in Ghana.
Yeah, they're showing up in spaceships. They want to come wherever you guys are.
I'm going to go into France. They're showing up in France.
And I want y'all to understand something, like, just as much as everybody praises Nipsey Hussle and Black Sam as the wonderful work that they were able to do in the sense of showing you that you have your own gold inside of you. If you listen to Nipsey Hussle's music with Victory Lap, Nipsey's primary, always main point was the gold is inside of you. I know a lot of times where people see numbers, whether you got 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 people in the chat, or if you got 196 people in the chat, right? I want you to understand something. If you go outside, find 5 people and have them to agree on something, people will pay attention. Some folks be having 500, 5,000, 2,000 people at a time. The numbers will fluctuate. YouTube don't tell the truth anyway. None of these social media. Look at Elon Musk. He ain't telling the truth about nothing, not even his hair, right?
Well, I think Anonymous is telling the truth when they say
they say he's going to liquidate,
Yeah, he ain't going to be owning X for too long.
My point is this, is that if you listen to what Billion and Brandi Kane, the point of us highlighting them, and we wanted you guys to see that, we want you guys to see where they have the gold that's inside of them and the people that are in their community. They recognize that first. Celebrities then came out in their face. Politicians came out in their face. They still stood their ground. And what they do, this is what I said, in this culture, they sell you low self-esteem first. That's what they do with slaves. I have to sell you that your stuff ain't worth nothing. I have to sell you that your hip-hop ain't worth nothing.
Your body ain't worth nothing.
Every time I look,
I
see
stealing myself.
Yeah, I see two tones, patchy face. Every time I look up, every negroid or nigga in these positions are always trying to say, like when Nipsey got killed, that's why you shall lead the hood. I says, well, listen here, dumb half-tan nigga. Did you tell them anything about Africa Town when you was talking about Nipsey leave Crenshaw? Did you talk about with your dumb ass? Did you talk about Lemire Park?
Right. And also, to your point, that wasn't a hood hit. That was something else.
We already know what that is. We already know what that is. That's why you don't see Sin and I exploiting that man's story all up and down the live streams all day. Some people out there genuinely trying to figure out what the hell happened. But there's some people out here, for them, it's just another check from YouTube. That another little $200, $300 check from YouTube.
It's another pretend Chirac moment for them.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm saying is because, see, I'm seeing New York niggas. I'm seeing niggas, some of the niggas in the South, talking about that's why you should leave the hood. Nigga, where you going?
Look, 50 Cent left New York.
Where you going?
He left New York and went to Louisiana. But then is he gonna do the same bullshit where he not really putting his people on? We'll find out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody keep telling you leave the hood. Where? Because where they live at, them people don't want to be bothered with they black asses. Same niggas. They talking about leave the hood. And then people jumping when they go into their elevators in the lobby with their $10,000, $7,000 monthly lofts, and they walking around uncomfortable and trying to figure out when they go to the doctor why they having high blood pressure, because you're stressed out, because you're around people that don't like you. You have insecurities. Part of the reasons why you left your community was out of fear, so you are always living in fear.
And to your point, the hood isn't the issue. Y'all run around the hood, violence. Shut the hell up. Gangs weren't even created by black people. We started our communities. Our communities were always safe. You know, Italians started the drive-bys. Do y'all even know about gangs of New York? All those people talking that shit? The Irish, the Italians, the Jewish mafias. Please. Black people didn't start to get into that form of criminality until later. And in those communities, you think people weren't getting popped? It ain't. It's not about that. That is not the reason why your communities are starving. Stop talking about gender wars, who you fuck, and all this other stuff, and welfare queen and body bag niggas. None of that stuff has to do with why you're in the position you're in. It's because of the banking order and because the government doesn't want to give you shit for your hard work. They want to starve your community. They want to use your body as a resource. They want to use your intelligence as a resource. They want to use your creativity as a resource. And then they want to make you disappear. It's that simple, especially when you have these DNA companies that are being sold. They're like, okay, now we have your DNA. We got a black people DNA over in the continent of Africa. We got black people DNA with 23andMe and all that. So eventually, I mean, if we can make them be almost non-existent population-wise, I mean, we have everything we need from them, the genome, and these DNA tests and all that other shit. So you got to be wise. All this trying to make it about this Democrat, Republicans, black man, black woman, welfare queen, this and that, all that stuff, gangs are the issue. All of that is irrelevant because, as Billion said, as Brandi Kane said, that's not the source of the issue.
That ain't the source of the issue. But see, some of y'all up there, y'all have been paid to not talk about the source of the issue. I mean, y'all couldn't even listen how much cooking we had to do. Sid and I went on a barbecue tour. Y'all couldn't even be honest about a rap conversation. That's how much y'all are paid to not tell the truth. You can't even be honest about the cosmetics of the culture. That's the crazy part about it. So that's why y'all hear us, when y'all hear our opening, people think, oh, we just being mean. No, shut up. I admire people like Billiongodsun. You know, Reverend Kelly out in Denver, Colorado, helping with the Youth Gang Association. I admire people like Brandi Kane and people of Africatown and Crenshaw. I ain't never stumped down out there as of yet. But I get happy every time I see one of them flags come across my profile. I see them people getting busy out there. Those are the people I actually admire in real life. I do not admire other folks on the microphone when they're not telling the truth about the reality of what everyday people have to go through in their life. I don't like all of that, and I'm not really with any of that energy. And I will say this, too. On the other side of it, here's the thing. You know, the reason why folks be getting tight with us, because, see, y'all already sold out. And it's cool. It is what it is, right? You ain't got to suck your teeth every time you hear my voice. Nigga, I don't give a fuck, right?
If you're not if you didn't get caught messing with kids, you can always come back from that.
You can always get saved. There's plenty of crackheads that got saved, okay?
Yeah, you can always be also honest with your sexuality. Come on now.
There's plenty of people that used to be prostitutes. They got saved, okay? Here's the thing, though. The real situation is this. For instance, when he brought up the brother Mark Bradford, I believe that's his name. And Mark Bradford, I don't know you, player, but you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Mm-hmm. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. They selling your pieces for $10 million, and they say that you can't even show up in the community. You got to send your non-black empire boyfriend down to the community, you know.
Hiding from the community.
And you always have this happening in our spaces.
He's probably gonna say, because I have anxiety.
Yeah.
Because you know what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah, but you know what happens though. See, you if you ain't made your decision. See, one thing I respect is a full-time demon. You know, I made my decision. We're gonna burn it down. But some of you all just do it for the check. Y'all don't even do it for the philosophy. Y'all don't even do it for the belief. It's just for the check.
And then they'll take that away from you like the Joker. And then also to the other communities, y'all may be fine, but y'all may not. I mean, look at what this energy did to the indigenous people of the Americas. So you may think getting rid of black people may help y'all, and y'all can become the new dark-skinned people and do hip-hop and all that other shit. But how do you know that it's not going to happen to you next?
Well, the thing is, when black people go, it all goes.
I agree.
I'll say that again. When black people go, it all goes. I don't understand any of this shit. That's what I said about that silly boy. People thought, oh, Prince Solomon hate Drake. I said, no, he just stupid. I don't know what you thinking. Like, oh, it's just, okay, I'm going to go after these public women. I'm going to go on after Rihanna. I'm going to tap dance all on top of Serena Williams. I can harass her because she a black woman. Who gives a fuck, right? I didn't see him do none of them white girls that dissed him on Ellen, right? None of the other girls, all the black girls was quiet. You know, like Rihanna did say, hey man, you just a minute man. That's really why I wasn't messing with you. Serena Williams didn't say nothing about you. You went after all of them because you were programmed in your upper middle class, white, Italian, Jewish Toronto neighborhood. It is okay to put the dark skins under your boot, even if I got a part of them in me. Because at default, I know I publicly view them as lower class, which is why you beat all of the black men that came into Canada that you thought had an issue with you. The reason why I'm making that statement about all of this not like us, I know people say, well, who does that mean? Black people are speaking in code to each other when they say these things. The point is this. When black people go, that's it. The shit shut down. Started the party over. Ain't nothing left. I understand y'all want to make mayo sandwiches. I know y'all want to make tuna casseroles. I know people want to try their own different chips, their own different barbecue burrito tea. It's the same thing I said about the Mexican thing that was going on. I said, do y'all know what Juneteenth is? No, man, Holmes. I don't know. Then, okay, why are you running your mouth, Javier? Then when you explain it to him, my bad, Holmes, I shut up. Yes, because listen, just like they did with Mark Bradford and what he did to Sika DeWinfo concerning his family out there. Some of these people have been programmed from start that I will only exploit black people. And I always say that when you think about that, the house of card crumbles. Because some people think, I'm just going to exploit black people, get rid of them. You get rid of them or you try to get rid of them. You notice how everything else flattens?
And also, right? it just even if you are a black demon, because, you know, we talking to different aspects of people. We talked about the black celebrity, the decadence, the luxury class. Yeah. They're not going to let your kids in, so stop it. Unless they, you know, white themselves out by, you know, dating interracially into those bloodlines. But if they want to be with another black person or anything like that, y'all just going to get kicked out. So that's to them. They're not really going to put you in there. And overnight, your companies will be in non-black hands. So the future of your lineage, if you don't make the right decision, y'all asked out too. Many of y'all black celebrities have already been kicked out in certain spaces.
Yeah, I just ain't going to say nothing.
Now to the demons. People in the underworld. And y'all know better. Y'all know that they're not going to accept y'all at all.
Never.
Now
with all them tats on your face.
And
shouts out to you, but you know they ain't accepting you.
Whether you're a corporate demon, a gang-banging demon, whatever type of demon you are, they are not going to accept you. Everyone who's a part of this, who's black, who thinks that they're going to get a leg up, they are going to portray all of you. So to the corporate goons, to the gang-banging goons, to the black luxury, I want to be, you know, up there with the Rubens and the banking orders and all that other stuff. To the ones who thought they was trying to be cute like Candace Owens being hired by PragerU and Daily Wire to talk shit about black people. Now she firing off as Jewish people and got fired by the Daily Wire. To all of y'all just around the globe, they are not going to accept you. And I'm not talking about your friend. You could be friends with whoever you want. You could date whoever you want. I'm talking about structure. The people who are running these banking orders, they're not going to accept you because they are afraid of you. Yeah. And the more you be a bitch and placate to insecurities, right? The more power you're giving them. Stop giving your power away to other people. Dark crimes, of course, we don't do certain things not only because it goes against our ethics and morals, but even when it comes to shadow principles, I'm not stupid to sell out my people to go somewhere where I know they have a lynching process for me too. It's just going to take a little bit longer, and then they're going to get me.
You know what?
Like they did Diddy.
Yeah.
Like they did all the sellouts. I mean, I'm sure there's a whole list of names. All of them go.
All you gotta do is go from OJ to Diddy. Shit. Nah, we ain't even. And for some of you niggas, y'all ain't even gotta go back in time to slavery. Just go from OJ to Diddy. Yeah. Diddy should be y'all biggest lesson. Y'all always laugh when I go back to Diddy. I say, thought that nigga's skin was impenetrable. thought he was invulnerable. I thought Diddy had everything on lock. And did you notice? Just to show you this, when that man did all of that stuff, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit up here and say fuck celebrities. I think some of these people that even with their burner accounts and they show up here and there, they pop out on some Kendrick Lamar shit in our chat randomly. I think the first step to enslavement is confusion.
Right.
You have to be confused about who you are,
And
what
your
you
enemy
are,
is.
what your enemy is, who your enemy is, and then what you are capable and not capable of doing, right? But just like they say, not like us, on their end, they'll tell you all the time, you was never one of us. Mm-hmm. You know, and so just even what Billion and Brandi was saying about certain people that are trying to participate in gentrifying, or the attempt of gentrifying, because you know they're holding the muscle down very hard out there, but the attempting of gentrifying a community, the illusion definitely starts with the confusion that somehow you're going to benefit from this.
I even see some black platforms, and it's okay if you're for the Palestinian people, but I see them not talking about the Congo or the Sudan. You're making the same mistake again. The mistake is, let me put everybody else's issues before mine. Remember, the Arab world portrayed the Palestinians. They're doing the networking with the Western world and the Western powers, right? Mm-hmm. They betrayed Black Africans, saying Black Africans had nothing to do with North Africa. They were there before you. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
So you have to have a balance of light and dark energy. Mm-hmm. You have to have a balance. Yeah. If you're all the way in the light, you're going to be played and used as a sucker. You're not a martyr for everybody, okay? And if you do all the way in the dark, you still fail, because what are you destroying is something that's important. Now, if you're destroying something that needs to be destroyed, then good job. But you always got to be careful in what you're building and what you're destroying. You better make sure you're destroying something that should be destroyed and you're building up something that should be built up. Don't build up the wrong things and destroy the wrong things.
Well, they'll have
the right things. You know, you got to be centered.
Well, you're right, and what they'll do, and this is what I just say for us to get to this, because I want you guys to again support Billiongodsun and then Brandi Kane, but also support people like them, or even become that of yourself in your own community. I don't care where you are right now. If you're in Milwaukee, there's black communities in Milwaukee that are going through the same thing. Okay,
everywhere.
It's happening in Minnesota, St. Paul. Yeah, it's happening in it's the Fifth Ward. Okay, it's happening in Dallas. It's happening. Period. Here's the thing about it. Look, I think humans. I'm pro humanity. I think people should be able to live, fight, and live and fight and procreate and do the love thing, do the sex thing, do the education thing, do the family thing. I don't care. Do all of that. But I'll tell you this though. I mean, you can't keep putting all them damn school books in my backpack. You know, y'all putting the Israel book in my backpack. That's like 1,500 pages. You putting the Palestinian book in my backpack. That's 2,000 pages, right? You putting about what's going on in Paris in my backpack, right? Then you got to put all of this stuff before you can take care of yourself and your community. And what they do very well in this infrastructure, right? What they do very well is make black people feel ashamed for taking care of themselves and their family. Not in a selfish sense, like I got the bag. They did some witchcraft. They made self-care into self-deprivation.
Don't wash your ass. You gotta wash everybody else's asses first. Then you wash your ass last.
Well, get the bag, nigga. Get the bag. Who cares about that, nigga? Gentrify the hood, nigga. Who gives a fuck? The white man gonna do it. What did Diddy say? I gave them the same deals as the white man did. I said, and guess what, Diddy? They gonna give you more time than they give the white man. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You right, player. You right, player. Yeah, absolutely. This is what's so beautiful about all of this shit, because it's propaganda. The real media is in your neighborhood. The real media is from yourself. The real media starts when you're loving on the family inside your home. The real media starts when you look into the mirror and you say, you know what, man, you're great. You're awesome. You're doing a great job. Girl, you look good today. I'm glad you started adding more words to your vocabulary. I'm glad you went out there and shook hand and made that deal. I'm glad that you went out there and did these things. Let me tell you why. See, all of you rap niggas, y'all can never say nothing to this generation again. I just saw your king get his head decapitated in front of us, which is P. Diddy. Diddy has had a presidential dictatorial rule over hip-hop media for over 30 years, folks. So no more of, and the beautiful part about it, whether you believe in astrology or not, y'all know we cover that on our Patreon. It's a language. The fact that Diddy was a Scorpio, a selfish Scorpio, and what was promoted in the industry is being selfish. Selfish is where the legacy is at. Selfishness is what has got your ass up under multiple investigations. Selfishness is what you got going on right now with certain communities are having to fight.
And Jay-Z replaced you with Michael Rubin.
Yeah. Now, no more. They can tell you all. No more of the gospel of selfishness. Folks, Pluto then went into Aquarius, y'all. They can't tell you no more how much being a selfish asshole is working. Because I'm going to ask you, how's that working for Diddy? Even if you want to do the rap game, Kendrick Lamar beat that Canadian nigga. Shouts out to Canadians. But he beat that Canadian nigga with the community of Compton. Then the community of hip hop. Wait, y'all remember A Bug's Life? What did Hopper say?
He beat him with the community of Canada. I mean, a lot of Canadians don't even mess with Drake because they know he's selfish.
So I mean, even as something as simple as what was it? Which one is it? Pixar, Disney, whatever one it was with Bug's Life, right? What did he was saying, man? He said, if you don't slap one of these ants down, bro, they all gonna stand up. Nigga, if they all stand up, nigga, we ain't gonna be able to fight all of their asses. Some of the stupid grasshopper we can fly. He said, bro, they strong though. They strong. So that's why a lot of times through the hip hop propaganda, which usually targets the youth, usually targets the sensible, usually targets the conscious, right? Usually targets where everybody is, even the black girls that do the tea culture, they are part of this as well. The reason why they don't want y'all to have stories like what really goes on with Crenshaw, right? What really goes on with Harlem, right? What really goes on with Brooklyn right now? What's going on in Atlanta? What's going on in New Orleans right now? What's going on in Houston? The reason why they don't want you to do that because they don't want y'all to have any real movement. That's why they had to sit that BLM stuff on top of the real movement that was happening.
That's why the T girls, y'all should join together. And also give each other space. Don't tell each other what to do. You know, let y'all do your own thing, but be your own web. And that should be across the board for anything. Yes. So, otherwise, they're going to be pushing you out with other girls doing tea. Yeah, y'all starting.
Yeah, y'all shouldn't be telling each other what to do. Y'all can't see each other's faces anyway. Half of y'all we don't even know what a third of half the T girls look like. Right? That's why look online right now. Just to use this connotation. Billiongodsun Brandi Kane and people of Africa Town. Now, we're going to highlight these spaces, but we really want to highlight what's been going on in Crenshaw because we know that's an extension. What Brandi Kane and Billiongodsun and what they come from is what also motivated Nipsey Hussle. Because that movement was already going. Nipsey Hussle came in on the back end from the culture he was speaking from and was like, look, this is what I'm going to do on my side of the game. Again, you know, everything else that can be discussed can be discussed elsewhere. But as you guys can see, you know, what they touched on concerning the program Grid. You know, they've shown that the people representing Grid that are being handsomely paid by that program have been some of the reinforcement for a lot of the gentrifiers in the community. And those programs are not just happening out there. We want you guys to see that because maybe something like that has been set up in your backyard and you couldn't recognize it, or maybe you had to go do some research and now you're seeing this is all an extension of that as well. Like he brought up with the situation with Mark Bradford coming out of the actual community, but they paid him like they do with all of them. Sim brought up a great point. She said, black people as a group don't have the privilege of selling out, or they don't sell out as a group. But she said individually, we've seen black people be able to sell out, but not as a group. Usually when black people march for Asians, they march for Spanish, Latinos, Hispanics, then the marching for the whites, marching for the Jews, marching for the Palestinians, right? Marching for the aliens. Somebody from some of those groups, some sort of ambassadorship turns around and double crosses black people out of the deals.
But that's because the government allows it. So, like, you had some people in the Palestinian movement trying to call black people the face of imperialism. The fuck how? Y'all come to America and sell out. Black individuals can sell out. Apache Face can sell out. But they're not going to let the entire black community sell out.
No.
They'll allow Asian groups to sell out. They'll allow Latino groups to sell out. They'll allow Arabs to sell out, like on some DJ Khaled shit, right? They'll allow the Saudis do what they want, whatever. And the Palestinians will be the only people to pay for it, but everyone else can join in the wealth with them. Nah, it's not an aspect of black people. They want all black people gone.
Yeah, the same thing in media. Shit. Some of y'all having issues with, look, you cannot be concerned about nothing Thought Crimes is saying, folks. Y'all done had all types of people whip on y'all asses and cut y'all out of a lot of money. Some of y'all right now are firing up y'all podcast microphones, and people in the industry have cheated y'all out of hundreds of millions of dollars.
Spotify and Joe Button.
Right? So you had a lot of that, even with iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
It's all of it. iTunes. People, y'all all got the same complaints, but it's happening it's happening on multiple levels.
Y'all not getting money like y'all say y'all getting.
So even what's been going on, even with the politicians, some of y'all are being cute online. Y'all putting on the MAGA hats and y'all, I don't care because black people stupid. So I might as well go get the money. And then you go get the money, but where are you going to go?
Where are you going with the money?
Where are you going with it? Like, y'all ever seen the movie The Passion of Christ, the one Mel Gibson did? After they gave bitch ass Judas his little money, they hit the nigga in the face with a bag of coins. Get your ass out of here, nigga. Boy, you double-crossed that fly, nigga. You ain't shit, but here's your change, right? Judas dumbass didn't know where to go. Cause he couldn't go to the local donkey dealer because they was gonna beat his ass.
Yeah, we'll give you the money, but you can't buy a home in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Your company is restricted.
And you excommunicated from your own neighborhood. The people in Nazareth, Jerusalem, they didn't want to see him coming. He shitty cuz. He can't show up to eat at no burger joints. You can't show up and pull into no car wash. And you can't go nowhere. It's the same thing with some of y'all that have some influence. Y'all can't go nowhere. So then what happens? Because you can't go as far as you thought you could when they gave you that little bit of bag, what you do? You start beating on black people publicly. You start getting resentful because you made a stupid ass decision. So it's the same thing in the situations in these neighborhoods. I don't know when people get the bag, I don't know where they're going to go with it. Because the further they go, the more they find that they're not liked. But the dislikement started with themselves when they looked in the mirror when you betrayed people that look like you, Mark Bradford. I don't know what type of shit you on, player, that you can betray a wonderful community like that. I don't know what type of alleged or non-alleged, because some of y'all, when y'all get up in the heels and y'all make them weird Judas decisions, y'all start putting coke up y'all noses. Y'all get weird with the babies. I don't know
what happened to the guy who killed, who assisted by poisoning Fred Hampton. I mean, he didn't do shit with his life.
He ain't do nothing. Gave a few PBS interviews.
Y'all become too depressed and y'all kill yourselves on drugs. Some of y'all commit suicide. Some of y'all get murdered later just to make sure that the cover-up stays a cover-up. Some of y'all, okay with what y'all did, but then you realize that you did it for nothing because they're not allowing you to buy anything. So you just got the money, but you don't got anything to buy. So all of it leads to a dead end. I don't care about what Jay-Z's doing over there with Fanatics. I don't care about what this nigga doing over there with that. We know for sure they all lead to the same ending. And that is the Diddy ending.
Yeah, it's the same thing, y'all. Y'all got to understand something too, man. Let me tell you something. Every 10 to 15 years, they tell y'all niggas it's a new Black Hollywood. They do this shit all the time. They've been doing this for a long time. Even go back to when they did the Red Scare. Most of that shit they went after was a lot of the black classically trained jazz folks, the people that know how to sing and dance, and the Hazel Scott had her own show.
Robeson.
Yeah.
And they disappeared. Like, no one knows what that first show looked like, but she had a whole first season, a whole show on television. I tried to look for it to see if there was any snippet, but none.
Man, shit. That shit is over there with the JFK footage. As you know, when every time they don't want black people to see, they put it next to the JFK footage. All right? You know, and the reason why we bring it up, and I want y'all to look at the Shitty Cuz situation. That's as far as I can go about it on the Patreon. I mean, on this stream, I'll talk more about it on Patreon. But Shitty Cuz ain't nothing but Judas. Yeah, I got to understand when somebody says something about Christ energy or Christ consciousness, it doesn't mean perfection. That means an awareness. Christ was a title. It's like a police officer. You know, Sin the Christ, Prince the Christ, Godson Billion the Christ, Brandi the Christ. It's just that this particular one, Yahshua, was a prominent Christ.
Because he was the Son of God.
So when you
are right, Christ, Jesus is the Son of God, but Christ consciousness is something that everybody can have. It's kind of like you have a king and the king have his officers, to the point what you were saying. That's Christ consciousness. Yeah, Christ consciousness is something that anybody can have by sticking to their ethics and not selling out their people. And
Shitty Cuz is the son of Satan. All right?
Selfishness, yeah.
So somebody sent that man. They sent that man out there to do that concerning, to carry on a demonic energy that has been antagonizing the entire black populace of LA. Particularly that county that has the largest black populace, too, by the way. Because 2026 Cup is coming. 2028 is coming.
See, I didn't even know about the 2026.
I forgot about it until the brother Billion mentioned. I said, "Oh yeah, that is right."
But that's why it's important. That's why we have people like Billion and
Brandi Kane,
because I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So there's a demonic y'all got to understand something. I'll just say this. Y'all got to understand something. Shitty Cuz is the manifestation of a demonic energy that has been antagonizing the black populace of that community. All of a sudden, niggas start making sense. I told you, I don't have the temperament to sit on the podcast all day and not make sense. That's why y'all heard us roast Lulu. Man, nigga, get your confusing ass out of this chat. You don't make no sense, nigga. You know, I like clear and focused people like Billiongodsun and Brandi Kane and some of you all in the chat as well. Y'all have been always sending us information, putting us up on game, because at the end of the day, this is the stuff that really matters.
We want thousands of you, and then eventually millions of you, to support Africa Town, to support your own media hubs, to support, of course, Dark Crimes as well. But this is why we have the type of people we have on our show. Hey, look, it's happened to us, and I tell you, the reason why Thought Crimes don't become better is because I don't look at it how racists look at things. I don't look at when a black industry person do something to me, it's all black people. I think about all the beautiful black faces that have helped me in my life. I think about the kind strangers who have been beautiful black individuals that I've come across. You know, Patchy Face trying to steal our shit and give it to what's his name?
Who?
Colbert.
Oh yeah, Colbert. Yeah,
the white guy with the news thing.
Uh-huh.
Industry black people trying to take our animations and some of the stuff we did. People taking our shit, not giving us credit. That doesn't make me hate black people because I'm not immature. Yeah. Those are Judases. So why? I mean, like, I'm not putting a Judas on my entire community. I understand what I see.
Yeah, man. The think tank give me my credit, and I'm not asking for credit. It's good when people support you. I love the love is what I like. Love is more important to me than someone saying, "Oh, y'all the first to do this, that, and third." when I want y'all, when y'all get a chance, go look at the wonderful work the people of Africa Town do. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for community love. That's why you got so many rejected fools running around here trying to be a part of something, anything but a part of themselves, because they're not plugged into no community. Y'all, this is the internet. It's a tool. It's a tool. It's not real life. You go outside, you can be a part of the community of Jersey. You go into communal cities of Jersey where black folks are doing things. You go down to the Black Shrine of Madonna in Houston. That's a real community.
Well,
that's the thing about it. This is a tool, folks. This is a tool. This ain't real life.
We lived out there in the Third Ward for a while. It was a lot of beautiful black families. It's a very beautiful experience. Yeah. And also, yes, we heard what happened with Hurricane Chris calling out 50 Cent and not having Bootsy. And there's things I disagree with Bootsy. Y'all already heard, but with Bootsy and them,
that's
50
good.
Cent should know better to go to. If you're gonna do, but again, you want to go out there and do business, and you're not going to the locals and showing that support.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, and that's good. And shouts out to Hurricane Chris and all of the local natives of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, all the way down to the bottom of the boot as well with New Orleans, folks. But again, these are tools. That's why all of y'all that think this is real life, y'all all keep getting fucked up, starting with Drake. Dog, this ain't, you can't just, bro, we told you what was going to happen with Atlanta, Los Angeles, the Bay, New York, Chicago, Detroit, Gary, Indiana. These are communities of black people that do have influence over a lot of the culture, which is why you see a lot of politicians try to pimp the black vote. Because they know, listen, the Democrats already, at the very least, they knew, look, Joe Biden, listen, like, they just ain't motivating nothing right now, right? The minute somebody showed up and was deemed colored, right, all of a sudden it was getting people's attention. But Billiongodsun told y'all what the game is. They're on here to tell you. They're not here to, like they said, like Brandi Kane said. She said, I'm not here to get all this credit for myself. She said, we're here to just impress upon y'all about the greatest spiritual fight. Folks, they're here to give y'all the game of what's going on in y'all own backyard.
Oh, yeah, we know Houston's being gentrified. When we was there, and that's why we said it's not about crime. I was walking there at nighttime out there in the Third Ward. Ain't nothing happened to Prince and I. I just saw families with, cowboy hats, people riding on their horses. They said the Fifth Ward was supposed to be a little bit, of an issue. But, we went over there too during the daytime. People were cool, I just think, we saw some yuppies moving in, though, when we was down there in 2016.
Oh, yeah.
And we saw some yuppies moving into the Third Ward. They were even being disrespectful to a black property owner when they were putting their garbage can and junk in front of her property, which we thought was disrespectful. But not surprised.
All I did was kick their trash over.
Prince did go outside and kick their shit back over. Like, don't be disrespectful.
This shit from over here. It's fucking ravioli cans and shit.
I'm not gonna lie. And again, this is not about all white people, but facts are facts, truth is truth. It's not about all white people. But them yuppies there, they were being disrespectful to the black people there, as you saw with what they did with their garbage in front of the black property owner, but also even looking for sex. When Prince and I was at the laundromat, there was one of the male yuppie guys with his
Docker shorts on,
his Docker shorts and pink shirt.
How you doing?
Looking for sex.
And listen, let me tell you something.
These people are fucking crazy.
Well, ain't that what colonizers do? Not a colleague, you're a fucking colonizer. Look, let me tell you something real quick, man. I done walked all the way. That's why I know it's some bullshit with that Takeoff shit. Even where Takeoff got shot at, y'all. If you ain't never been to Houston, y'all, where Takeoff got shot at, it ain't even no crime area. Folks, it's literally like Dave and Buster's Discovery Zone type shit over there. It's where actually at night, you see people that have a little bit more money pull up in their Maseratis. I said, where he get shot at? They said, oh, he got shot over here in front of this Billions. Yeah, because how they advertise it on TMZ's dumbass, they made it seem like he got shot deep down in the hood somewhere. He didn't get shot in the hood. That's why I know whatever went on with them boys, it was some bullshit. Man, I done walked all the way up through Fifth Ward at night by myself. As long as I done been in Houston, I done been everywhere in Fifth. I done been all in there, Acres, Homes, everywhere. Nobody did nothing to me.
Half the time, people who get in trouble are people who are up to stuff.
Man, if you looking for sex and drugs, that's why you about to get it. Cause you ran exclusively with criminals that are desperate. You ain't even running with the criminals that make the money. The criminals that make the money, they cool. We good on it, chill. But bro, like the way they even tried to advertise the thing, like something was wrong with the people of Houston. I said, bro, do y'all know where that man got shot at? That man got shot at somewhere where if it stayed open 24 hours a day, y'all would have y'all children over there. But they make everything black adjacent hood. They make it all criminalized. Just like what we said. I saw what Two Tone said when Nipsey Hussle died. And the first thing he can do out of his chapped lips. This is the one thing he's always confident about. That's why I left the hood. No, you left because of Jessica Reed. Shut your ass up, nigga. Right? The real situation is this. When they had the chance, they didn't say, hey, man, you know what? It's important. It's the same thing that happened in Jersey. I forget the brother's name. It was a brother, beautiful brother. He opened up a clothing store he opened up a clothing line in some part of New Jersey. And what happened, he ended up getting killed. All right? He got killed. It happens. Go look up the stats of store owners across this nation, white or black, getting killed. It is a risk at times depending on what hours you're open. People travel across town into upper echelons of society, and they murk owners of high-end boutiques all the time.
No, I mean,
it happens all the time.
What you're saying there is true because, like, even Swift talk about because y'all civilians. Duh, that's the point. There's only certain bad areas that would, shoot and kill civilians, but in most places, if you're not a part of the criminal circuit, you're not a part of it. So you, in certain areas, there's nothing for you to really worry about unless you are someone trying to buy a product, and that could be risky. Like I said, if you're trying to buy some certain type of drugs, pay for certain type of drugs or whatever, then that can
get your ass
in trouble. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying it's not so I disagree, player. I know because I used to live there. Where he got killed at, I used to live down in that area. I would all the time at night. I would walk out at night. I'd be in the same area. Nobody said, "Hey, nigga, you cheated me." Nah, it's the people you running with, and just like we talked about earlier. It might be the contracts that have already been placed on people's heads. Yeah, that's another situation.
I came down to Houston. I walked, Prince and I walked downtown, walked the Third Ward. We visited the Fifth Ward from time to time.
Nigga, I can tell you
it was really like people in Houston was just really chill at that time. Again, that was at the time when we were there. I don't know what has happened recently.
I know what's going on with some of the folks that are still tapped in out there. I can tell you where you're not supposed to go to Houston, but guess what? Most people already know. Just like people know where not to go in New Jersey or New York. Most people know where not to go. That's some other stuff going on there. We told y'all about that. But the whole point is this. Even how they tried to make it seem, even what took place with Nipsey Hussle, the first thing they wanted to advertise, and it was Two Tone's job to get his ignorant ass up there on iHeartRadio and go look at it. Go to their page and find out when they announced Nipsey Hussle's death. The first thing Two Tone said, "That's why I lead the hood. See, all the crime." But see, we can't get y'all niggas to talk about the stuff we didn't already said what we heard on the wire early on. Y'all can't talk about Diddy. Diddy been kicking that girl in front of people. The first thing I want to do is talk about the hood. Just like y'all was up there cucking for Michael Rubin. Look, let Michael Rubin apologize. Then y'all gonna go over there and explain his actions. Oh, no, because what he said was right. Like Billiongodsun said, bro, and Brandi Kane said, listen, man, they always gonna find a sellout. They always gonna find. They got a short lifespan though.
Ron Emanuel brother said he wants a ceasefire and for Palestine and Israel. And his Jewish people in the room booed him. He was not a good Jew. So to act like even what's happening in Israel with Hasidic Jews getting beat up because they don't want to go to war by Netanyahu. Like all this, what like you said, what they were doing. Michael Rubin was starting all this trouble just to protect Drake. That's what it all was about. Just because Kendrick Lamar whipped his ass.
Go start a record label. Go start a record label, man. Sign your folks. Why he got the attention on him? Shouts out to you, Swartz, 2Player, by the way. I know where he was throwing them dice at. That's a problem area, but not where he got killed at, player. That's what I'm speaking about. Not where he was throwing them dice at. That's because it was two different locations. You know, and this is why I said we had to be careful about the propaganda, just like what we talked about with them trying to advertise certain things that have been going down. Now, y'all just heard Billiongodsun get up here with Brandi Kane and tell y'all about the other dynamics of the grid program that you've seen other individuals bragging about. I got $500,000 contract for. You heard Billiongodsun. If we want to talk about men and black women standing on principle, listen to what he said.
You can turn my mic down.
He said, I turned that down twice. Somebody contracted 3 essays, 3 Latino hitters, and they shot at me with pistols. Thank God. This is what Billiongodsun said. He said, thank God that some cars was in the way. And if you guys recall the last time we had them on, he talked about how he was jumped. Y'all heard about the stories in Chicago. This is what DJ Blabademics didn't report. This is why we used to roast him all the time. They had mothers in Chicago, leaders, mothers against gang violence in Chicago. Somebody or somebody's hired assassins to kill those mothers. You seen it with some of the people that was still dealing with the Governor Snyder situation in Flint. Some of these people that was going to protest and even participate in the trial suing the local government, they mysteriously turned up dead. We told y'all about Darren Sells turning up dead with being in Ferguson, and they set his car on fire. Then the autopsy showed that he was double tapped in the head. Can you turn my mic up? All right. This goes on across the board.
What you said was very important. And just to add on to what Prince is saying, important people doing important shit do not die accidentally. The Cash App situation out there in Cali, the creator, what happened with the plane going to Brazil, manufactured by the French and the Italian.
And this has been going
getting
on.
Killed. Like, if you think those things are stupid, random hood things, and because niggas can't control themselves, you're an idiot. Important people doing important shit, even on a grass level. Nothing happens because some random dope head or some random gangbanger or some random idiot just did it because it was a random situation. For those type of people, it's never random.
Y'all seen that? Now, y'all heard Brandi Kane get up here with Billiongodsun. Listen to what they've been dealing with. And if Billiongodsun, if you listen to our first time when we was engaging with the brother, listen, he went further into it, what they were doing. Hiring henchmen out of the community.
Yeah, so people are saying, oh, because black people don't behave, they be killing their successful own. No, most of the time the people who are successful are getting killed because they didn't sell out.
Remember
and
now,
that don't mean everybody, of course, is going to be killed. This is the whole point, is because sometimes they try to sabotage this people movement. The whole point is we have to join it together because you got to stop being a punk.
Remember now, in that situation where you had, okay, who's speaking for Crenshaw right now? How about that? Besides Billiongodsun and Brandi Kane, the wonderful work that they're doing with their wonderful people of the community, right? Who's speaking? Because before y'all had Nipsey Hussle show up on these platforms, what was Nipsey talking about? Nipsey even told y'all, man, ain't nobody paying attention to no academics. You know the media gossiping. Yo, what do you think about Tekashi? He's like, man, I ain't got nothing to say about that shit. Anyway, back to this blockchain. Because they don't want that to be a conversation anymore, because their job for that particular era, they want to get rid of those people. Why would I need an ambassador like that to advertise black business? It's not just him. It happens all over. Darren Seals in Ferguson. Man was saying some real shit out there. I know for a fact because I was trying to get in contact with the brother. I didn't know they were going to kill him, allegedly. Then all of a sudden, old skinny toothpick-headed nigga D-Ray McKinnison with that blue vest on, taking a knee and putting his little limp fist up in the air, talking about black power. Black power. And you know what was his reward? They made him an ape in Planet of the Apes. That's why it's called thought crimes, ladies and gentlemen. I know some folks think y'all, folks come here, man. Yeah, y'all some Kendrick Glazers. Yeah, y'all just hate Drake. That's the illusion, nigga. You come here, you get educated.
No, I just like the fact
right?
that Kendrick makes great music, and that at least even on a very basic level, at least his music pushes children to want to read and decode things. I like that.
That's fine.
Frank's point. It's just about having some common sense, of what's in self-awareness to what is happening. I don't fear anything. Prince doesn't fear anything. B More doesn't fear anything. And,
I fear that milk is gonna stay on your side of the table and you ain't gonna pass it over.
I gave you that the oat milk. I
Yeah.
gave me the good milk.
What is the oat milk? That's oat milk on my side. Get that off my table.
I don't know what type of milk it was.
You don't even know. That look like diaper milk. Give me that little milk. You got this big ass jug on yours. It's probably like premium 9th grade drinking shit. So, but nah, listen, y'all. That's all we saying with this propaganda, because that's all this is. This is a propaganda, as you see it on Twitter. The OVO storks, I only use them because they're showing you the most active form of it. They didn't went in there, they made fun of Nipsey Hussle, they didn't made fun of Black Sam, they making fun of killing Kendrick Lamar. Let's be real about it. You got people online saying they hope something happened to his children. They don't care nothing about no community. Well, right?
Because humiliation is attached to the money. The money, you gotta suck somebody's dick, you gotta eat somebody out. The money is attached to something humiliating, and those people rather humiliate themselves. And it's something actually Suge Knight talking about. The people rather humiliate themselves instead of just pulling their sleeves up,
doing the work. Go to work.
Getting the reward of having your own shit.
Listen, y'all will keep seeing this. But that's the whole point. We wanted to do. We've been talking the same way. Sending that, y'all can go back when we did the woke economy, when they had Tamika Mallory out here stepping out of Cadillacs and Isuzus.
Cadillac tie.
Yeah, Cadillac tie is what we called her. Right? And to Billiongodsun's point and Brandi Kane's point, because we're winding these things down, all you got to do is look at how they discussed what went on with Mark Bradford. And they talked about how intimate the dynamics was, that he was up under Sika. And I'm going to put the brother on the screen so y'all can see who I was bringing up, we was talking about when we was discussing them. Sika DeWinful, the godfather of Lemire Park, had died at 83. And his daughter is now the host of the store where Billiongodsun stated that she was paying her rent. She was paying the store rent every month on time. Then all of a sudden, abruptly, she got an eviction notice, a 30-day eviction notice serviced by the same person that her father had mentored.
Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that crazy?
Ladies and gentlemen, they are not like us. Because you got to remember, in every situation where there's takeover, there had to be traitors in there first.
And that's the problem. If you know your group was in a unique situation, we know we stood together before. We can stand together again. Stop betraying each other for coins. Even questions like what Swift said, Beats. What would you do with reparations? The things that Prince and I would do for reparations, we wouldn't say out loud because people would steal it, as they have constantly stole from us. We already know what we would do with our money. We already know exactly what we would do with our money.
First thing I do so they can.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, so they can still go ahead, say. You was gonna say.
It wouldn't have nothing to do with no strip clubs, none of that shit. We know exactly what we would do with our money.
I'm buying a taco truck.
Take over whole industries.
All right, but I want you to get a chance. We're gonna, after this is generated, and it's gonna be on the recast, the broadcast. Y'all can when you come back to the channel to be up. Sin or I will put the links to Billiongodsun's profiles. Brandi Kane. We're gonna put the link to their the information where y'all can reach out to them if you happen to be in that area, by the way, or if you want to support them from afar, or even if you just want to repost it, because again, we want you guys to repost a lot of this, and then also go through and look at some of the things they're doing and seeing what blueprint you can apply to what's going on in your neighborhood, because we do have a lot of people in the chat that are servicing their communities locally too, by the way. And then also this gives you a chance to read the playbook of what typically takes place when they tell folks to participate in the gentrification as well. And again, I'm only having this wonderful brother on the screen, Sika the Wimple. You guys should do some research on him concerning Lemire Park. Very interesting history. But his daughter now has been curating the space, which she had been giving a 30-day eviction notice. They're trying to expedite her up out of that particular area, but one of the individuals that has been behind buying up the area was actually mentored by her father.
Well, you remember in Romeo Must Die, people who didn't want to sell their property or stuff, they were sending goons. Sin, bring that movie up one more time. People do not understand. Y'all always looking for messages. Romeo Must Die is a brilliant movie. It's disguised as popcorn shit, but it's actually a brilliant movie. I think everyone should watch it again.
Watch it again.
It's a popcorn film with a real issue inside the middle of it.
Real issue, man.
I think they was trying to do something with the
Super Bowl. The Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Or was it the Cup? Or was it the Olympics, Sam? Which one was it?
They all blurred in the same.
Which big ass event was it? Okay.
Yeah, Romeo Must Die. They were all these black. See, he said in the movie, the black people, the majority of them, didn't sell. They said, "We know what we got. Why would we sell?" I was like, "I got a beachfront. I got this. Why the fuck would I sell? I got some good property my grandpapa left me." And in the movie, they were sending hit squads to physically intimidate people
or knock them off
to give over their property.
Well, remember what they were also doing in Luke Cage.
Yeah.
And then you see in them situations all the time. So again, it's mighty funny, just even what Brandi Kane was stating about, the media, the media, when she said like, no real major black media presence concerning the greater Los Angeles is even discussing what's going on in Crenshaw.
That's why you need the villains too. I don't care. Black villain, black anti-hero, black goody two-shoes, whatever the fuck. Don't care. Y'all need to get y'all act together, because the ones, if you're just doing it for money, you're not gonna have any money. So you might as well, in this situation, do the right thing.
Right. And I'm gonna put one more thing on the screen before we get up out of here, so y'all can see what's been going on too. By the way, I want y'all to see something real quick, because this was very interesting. I want you guys to go back and pay attention. Follow Billiongodsun too, by the way. Follow him on Instagram, and you can follow Brandi Kane on Instagram as well. And then you can see what they're doing routinely over and over in their particular space. And again, like I said before, shouts out to Tavis Smiley for continue doing the great work that he's doing out there concerning his radio station. And even shouts out to the legend Stevie Wonder for even investing in something like that, which a lot of times, like a lot of people have been saying, you lead the hood. Okay, so this is the other dynamic of it. We're going to put this on the screen. Art and Practice is the organization that has been behind a lot of the shenanigans concerning what's been going on in abrupt acquisition of property out there concerning Africa Town, the Crenshaw community. And what Billiongodsun was saying, you know, the blackface of gentrification in the game is, you know, it's like these high-end artists that were supposed to come out there, or, you know, we're going to get local street artists. And then, you know, what they eventually do, though, is kind of wash the black folks, the organic black folks out of the community. Even look what he said. He said that even Brandi Kane said this, that they were trying to they were trying to downplay the Juneteenth that they have always been holding, and they wanted to bring in this new pumpkin spice Juneteenth, and they had Jasmine. So remember we said, now there's nothing wrong against the famous black folks, but you heard what he said though. Like they just brought it. Jasmine Sullivan just coming in, she just taking the gig.
Read your contracts,
but at least understand what's going on with local politics. You know, what's funny about it, even with the radio stations, when Brandi Kane brought that up, it was striking me because I said, you know what, if it was a new hot nigga off Crenshaw talking about murdering and killing, and he was like one of the hottest niggas in the streets, you probably couldn't get some of them radio stations to shut up about his ass. But when it talks about the families of Crenshaw, just like the families of Chicago, you can't get them to open up their mouth about nothing. That's why Sid and I, we're not selfish niggas. We always encourage you all, start your podcasts, start YouTubes up, write papers, write think pieces, cover a lot of this stuff.
Use the internet to your advantage. The internet influences the real world.
There you go.
So use it.
Use it.
Create your own apps from scratch. Look, y'all create your own apps, and I mean real coders. I'm not talking about people that are using already pre-made shit. Y'all code up your own shit. We'll give you the support. You know, and Brandi Kane and them, they know a lot of people out there in LA. So y'all start making your own shit. Use the internet. They even got open source
programs,
software.
Yeah,
where you can, OBS is open source, right?
Yes. And
there were a group of people who use OBS to create what's the other one called with the little ninja?
Restream.
No,
which one?
Not that. It was created off of OBS, open source. We was using it for a little bit.
XSplit?
No.
Okay.
No, I can't remember the name of it.
We went through so many of them.
But it's based off of the software foundation of OBS.
Yeah.
And they have people paying for their version. So go on the internet. Go to open source. Any open source software, y'all can flip it, make it look visually stunning, add some different features, and get it going. Your money.
Also, just like Gigi called in, and what did Gigi impress upon us? The history of Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. He talked to us about the Hells Angels. He talked to us about the black people out there.
Is it StreamYard? Because Dyson is throwing out their StreamYard.
StreamYard, I think, is the one with the little duck. Let me see. But multiple ones. Actually, it could be also StreamYard because you could create multiple things from an open source software.
Also, Lori Brown says, please, please, please. She says, if you are in Cali, please support Lemire Park. They are trying hard to whitewash it. That is a historical landmark for black people. We must keep it. And there are people that are actually out there, from what I saw, that are taking care of it, sweeping it, making sure they clean it. And just like, what Billiongodsun stated in Brandi Kane is that, when people are abiding by the rules, then they break the rules. You get what I'm saying? Also, I'm putting this on the screen here. This is Billiongodsun's this is Fight to Save Black LA. Okay, this is the Instagram account, Fight to Save Black LA. He calls this art washing equals using art and artists in a positive way to distract from or legitimize negative actions by an individual, organization, country, or government. Okay, he says equally in references to gentrification. So what he's saying here is that they're using, I believe it's called art in practice, but he called it art in parasite, to basically assist in gentrifying the black community.
Well, that's why I love people like Travis. I mean,
Yes.
Travis is someone who comes from an educated background.
Tavis Smiley.
Yeah, he's from the
Yes.
spaces of the Obamas and all that. But look at where he used that energy to do what he did with his radio show.
Yes.
And to hire black people as well, and to have Billion on the show as well. Like, that's
Yes.
important. Like,
He did.
I don't
He is
have
right
nothing
here too,
against
by the
Roland
way.
Martin, but Roland Martin's not trying to push for reparations, and he's not being hardcore enough with the Democrats. He's not calling them out. He's not calling these mayors out for turning their backs on black people.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that, I do have a problem with Roland
You
Martin.
mean he's on that blue no matter who?
But Travis, what I like about him, at least he's calling people out or allowing people on his platform to call those people out. And that is what we need.
Yeah, so again, shouts out to Tavis Smiley and what he had been able to do concerning KBLA 1580. And here, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, just going to have this on the screen for y'all so y'all can see it. This is Billiongodsun, making his media around here.
With KBLA Talk 1580.
And
Big.
that's the brother right there that y'all just saw on the screen. Yeah, Zoe Williams is on KBLA too. Shouts out to Zoe.
Shout out, much respect also to Zoe Williams.
Yes.
We follow each other on X, and
Yeah.
Zoe Williams has always been a guy about knowledge and education.
Yes.
So, I think it was a good choice what Travis did, put him, having his show be a part of his radio station. And look, Zoe Williams put in the work.
He does. He puts in a lot of work.
Put in a lot of work. So
Yeah.
that's a shout out to Zoe Williams as well.
Yeah, and there's his brother right there, Tavis Smiley. Been an admirer of his work for a long time. I mean, a lot of us grew up watching him, having some of the most down-to-earth, professional, intelligent interviews concerning black artists, black intellectuals, black scientists, black theologians, and philosophers as well. Again, a lot of that had been removed from the airways intentionally. Now you got Two Tones asking girls that are 4 times younger than him, "Are you colored?" So it's been reduced to a lot of that. But shouts out to Tavis Smiley and KBLA for putting attention to the likes of what's been going on with Billiongodsun and Africa Town in the Crenshaw community.
And we heard about y'all building up in Nevada.
Yes.
Black people don't stop. I don't care where y'all move to. Just stick with the hub.
Got to do it.
And fight for places. I think, make sure you lock what y'all got in real estate and businesses in Nevada. But make sure y'all also plug yourselves in with Africa Town.
Yes.
And continue to fight, because if they crush the black people of LA, they're going to go to Nevada. If they're going to crush the black people of California, they're going to come.
They're going to keep it rolling.
And then crush the black people of Nevada. Because remember, even when you talk about Las Vegas, you got stuff starting to build up. You got the Aces there.
Yeah.
The WNBA is starting to get more notoriety.
Look what's going on with LeBron James, too. He's making his way out there.
Right. So this is the time for y'all to stick together. Don't sell out. None of y'all got to sell out. You don't have to sell out. Y'all stick together.
Keep this in mind.
If you sell out, you're going to be like the people there crying about paying the monthly rent because they sold out and they thought it was going to be the better deal.
And it wasn't.
Don't
it really
sell
wasn't.
out.
Stand the ground. Look, you're going to have to stand up somewhere, Shawty.
Plus,
the
days of selling out is gone though. Y'all
just
had
think about
for
it.
the person who sold out, their best days was the 80s and 90s, and
they
even
bankrupt today.
And then even they bankrupt today. I was
They
going to say
bankrupt
that.
today, man.
I was going to say
Shit.
Russell. Look at what happened with Russell Simmons and Diddy. Like back in the 80s and 90s, especially the 90s. Diddy and Russell was living to everybody who be living it up.
Everybody that be living
They got it. Russell had his own clothing line.
Yo, Fafa.
Looked like he had everything. So the Diddy.
We also
with
got
Sean
baby fat.
John.
We got baby fat. We got baby fat.
Let's move past these illusions now. I'm glad that in 2024 we've all grown up and we understand that those sellouts, so they had a good 40 years, but
40 years a slave.
But here's the problem. You had a good 4 years of debauchery and decadence only for, I feel like if you're in your 50s or 60s, you're still young, only for you to get locked up. At
Well,
that old young
and
age.
you don't have no money to get the right lawyers.
Right.
Shit, so it's just a slaughter.
Or fleeing the country. Now you got to flee the United States.
Look at Russell Simmons. He's on a boat that smelled like cow feet.
So he had the 90s and the 2000s, the early 2000s. They were all happy. Now look at them.
But just to keep it moving, and also keep in mind now, Nipsey was supposed to be out there in Las Vegas to break grounds on some casinos and some other business endeavors too. Now you guys see what? LeBron James, you see the WNBA happening, you see all of these things taking place. Remember, just like Kobe Bryant was a fantastic ambassador concerning him being an NBA legend, even though they try to ignore him in the history, which is strange energy. That's another story. But y'all seeing that he was definitely a proponent of the WNBA, right? Even concerning his daughter. Look, folks, like Sid and I have talked about over and over, a matrix ran space does not want or does it reward thinkers.
It don't. And also Carla said it, Prince. They are trying to steal my family's land in South Carolina. My name is Carla Turner. If you see me on the news, no, I did not delete myself. Well, we believe you, Carla.
Okay, well, Carla Turner's message us on Thought Crimes 1984, gmail.com. And then if there's some clippings or any things you want that we can highlight on any of our social medias, we'll even tag it on the end of one of our more popular videos, just like we're going to be doing here with Billiongodsun and Brandi Kane's information. We'll do that, okay? So again, they want y'all stuff, and I'm gonna put this on the screen before we get out here so y'all can see. This is art in practice. This is what Billiongodsun and Brandi Kane was speaking about concerning Sika's legacy, and then his daughter running the store on the end. You'll see it on your left towards the end of the screen. He's about to get into it here real quick. This is a very quick clip.
And after this, we'll end off the show with California Tuesday.
All right, good people. Wanted to give folks a view of the properties that Art and Practice own, or that we were told that they own right now. A couple of days ago, we started sharing how they are in the process of evicting Sika's family from this space right here on the end, where they've been doing business for over 30-something years. So you'll probably be hearing a lot more about this in the next few days. What's up, DJ Nova Kane? Hey, if you stay with us, can you screenshot any comments that are left? Because they delete them once I end the live. But on both sides of the street right now, Art and Practice owns the entire block. So from Sika's all the way up this block to the yellow building on the corner right there where they're working right now, on around the corner. I'll show y'all that. But also on this side of the block, from this building right here on up to the huge brown building on the corner, and around the corner they have also acquired 2 more properties. All right, but right here on this wall we showed maybe a couple months ago now how this wall was erased with community art that has been on it for years, and no notice was given to anybody. A lot of incredible work that was put on this wall was just completely erased. And at that time, we were beginning to be told that Art and Practice owns this property, but now at this point we know for a fact that they do. Good morning, good peoples. We are over here in Africa Town showing the properties that are owned by Art and Practice. A few days ago, we put out how they are evicting Sika's family from doing business in this shop right here, where they have been for over 30 years. On Juneteenth, the city actually honored Sika by renaming this alley the Sika Dwimfo Corridor, Baba of Leimert Park Village. And then a couple days after Juneteenth, Sika transitioned. And then just a few weeks after that, Art and Practice, the name you see right there, served Sika's daughter a 30-day notice to vacate. So again, we're just showing how Art and Practice now owns pretty much that entire block. Just recently acquired this entire block. Walk up to the corner to show properties they have up here on 43rd Place. But pretty much from the time they started buying properties over here, which I believe it was in the early 2000s, they have not really been engaging with the community. For a while, a lot of the businesses or storefronts right here were left empty until people started making some noise about that, and they finally started leasing them. A few years ago, we were told that a lot of businesses that lease from them are on month-to-month leases. So it's been different rumors as to what exactly they're doing with this property. We don't know. But, they show up when they feel like it. They don't ever speak to nobody. We just kind of hear what supposedly they might be doing. But nobody knows. Why y'all up on me? Oh, y'all about to go in?
No.
Okay. And as I was saying, around this corner, they pretty much own the rest of this space. It caught on fire during COVID. There was a homeless encampment in front of it. The homeless encampment caught on fire, but then the building itself caught on fire. So it's been vacated all this time. Rest in power, Sika. Top of the morning, good peoples. We are out here in Africa Town, basically showing the community the properties that are owned by Art and Practice. Past year, they obtained more space over here. This building right here on the corner where they have the clock has been the primary business we've seen them operate out of. Many of us noticed that a lot of the programs they have over here, they tend to bus in kids coming from other communities. So I believe this is the exhibit they just had up. And even with this exhibit that they just finished, for the past month or so, there have been a lot of controversy. Or they went ahead and we'll put up a post later, but they had messages in these windows right here that was causing a lot of fuss. We've been told they also acquired this space. A lot of folks always refer to it as the blue building. See right here in front, they put up this wall right here. The past couple months they've been working on it as though they're trying to get it ready for something. And then lastly, we were told they just acquired this building. Where you see All Chill Hip Hop Ice Cream Shop and Z's Cleaners. A number of folks have been attempting to get this space. I believe it was a black woman who was owning it. But this is also now in the hands of Arts and Practice. So again, they are the ones who are now attempting to evict Seeker's family. But they're in the process of getting a few of these spaces ready for something. So yeah, any of you who are in LA, make sure y'all come out and patronize Seeker's shop the time being. Also, if you know the family, just inquire, see what it is you could do to help push back against this move. Or if you know any of these people with art and practice, you know, reach out and encourage them to do the more sensible and civil thing and have a conversation with Seeker's family to see what can be worked out.
Be closing out to California Tuesday, Problems, and then Any.
I got some problems. I got some problems. I got some problems. Yeah. I got some problems. I got some problems. I got some problems. Yeah. I got some problems. I got some problems. I got some problems. Yeah. Goddesses be taking me hostage on odysseys. Pardon me, I got a little bit plastic, faster than normal. Call it a ting. Hopefully this nigga will warn you. First let me warn you. I got a problem with ignorance. Tis why I'll burn the bridge or just swim. If it's me versus them, it's gonna be them. Cause I've learned enough to know how to win. Pride highs, the tide rise. Trying to reach Pacific Rim. What lies beneath the lines then? Is a devil that lurks in sheepskin, who show more teeth than a wolf grin. Still got cold feet or you gon' dive in. Life's a movie, drive in. Drop top, let's begin. It could be me and you, or me, you and your friends. Now we up in the Ritz. Started off at the Days Inn steak, cheese, eggs, and grits. Something like for Tuesday, slim black sweats with some great Timbs. Raider hoodie, Marshawn Lynch. Y'all done alienated the alienation, and if it's war of the worlds, call me Vader Zim. Y'all done alienated the alienation, and if it's the war of the worlds, call me Vader Zim. Cause goddesses be taking me hostage on odysseys. Pardon me, I got a little bit plastic, faster than normal. Call it a tick, hopefully this liquor will warm you. First let me warn you, I got a problem with ignorance. I got a problem with ignorance. I got a problem with ignorance. I got a problem with nigga sis. I got a problem with all of that comedy that swans us. Like we all just content, be a nigga rich. Motherfuck you with kinda, ain't no fictional construct enough to uplift my physical conduct. When they still ain't fixed, they do the water up and flood. My nigga, I got a problem. Yeah, yeah. I got a problem. Yeah, yeah. I got some problem. Yeah, yeah. I got a problem. Yeah. voyages on odysseys. Pardon me, I got a little bit plastic, faster than normal. Call it a tick, hopefully this liquor will warm you. First let me warn you, I got a problem with ignorance. I got a problem with ignorance. I got a problem with ignorance. I got a problem with niggas sis. I got a problem with all of that comedy that swans us. Like we all just content being nigga rich. Motherfuck you with kinda ain't no fictional construct enough to uplift my physical conduct. When it still ain't fixed, to do the one up and flip. My nigga, I got a problem. Yeah, yeah. I got a problem. Yeah, yeah. I got some problem. Yeah, yeah. I got a problem. Yeah, yeah.
Babylon and generation P8 with clean sense, uncommon, can you see straight? Freeze frames by the block in the deep state, deep fake DNA. I'm mobbing with the think tank. Be on the block with the guards where the beats done. Go makes it loud for a law, get your beat stung. Freeze frame, make it hard for bombers roll through. That hating energy get barbecue beef bump. You work a third every day to get the same. Yeah, we got just like the murderers and rapists that you claim. So we burn a little sage, then we raid in your spot.
Get down and get your motherfucking ass down. What that motherfucker doing? Fuck, nigga.
City poor crime, cold crime, cold crime, slow crime, slow crime, cold crime, cold crime. City poor crime, cold crime, cold crime, slow crime, slow crime, cold crime, cold crime. City poor crime, cold crime, cold crime, slow crime, slow crime, cold crime, cold crime. City poor crime, cold crime, cold crime, slow crime, slow crime, cold crime. Hey, my nigga, I ain't hating, and my nigga, I ain't lazy, but I know everything that they got come from slaves. So why you tryna give me occupation? My nigga, I ain't hating, nah, and my nigga, I ain't lazy, but I know hoagies and some cold-blooded killers, rape, and thieves. So why should I be patient?
I said he pull crime, cold crime, cold crime, slow crime, slow crime, cold crime, cold crime. Said he pull crime, cold crime, cold crime, slow crime, slow crime, cold crime, cold crime. Said he pull crime, cold crime, cold crime, slow crime, slow crime, cold crime, cold crime. Said he pull crime, cold crime, cold crime, slow crime, slow crime, cold crime, cold crime. Hey, my nigga, I ain't hating. My nigga, I ain't lazy, but I know everything that they got come from slaves. So why you tryna get me occupation? My nigga, I ain't hating, nah. And my nigga, I ain't lazy, but I know hoagies and some
To this day. To this day.
Perhaps you shouldn't turn your back on me. Is that a challenge?
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Black folks are nosy. They have specials. Nosy specials. Why does a bee make honey? You ain't a bee. Why do you give a fuck?
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
If he dies, he dies.
Go to our Patreon for more. And don't bother me.